The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink!
Stunner! Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this, it's my Thursday, May 1st, 2025. This program starts now. Sports are happening all around us. Obviously, the playoffs are taking place for the NBA and the NHL. We'll have full recaps and chit-chats about what's going on tonight. And we have some massive guests. Yes. Fresh off of the Capitals winning their first series against the Montreal Habitant Canadiens, Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals. Yes, son of a bitch, Tom Wilson will be joining us in about 40 minutes or so. He's incredibly handsome. He's Canadian. He's been playing hockey in the NHL for about 12 and a half years or so. Got drafted in 2012, played in the playoffs. Now it's 2025. Do you count the playoffs? Do you not count the playoffs? 13 years or so. He has been a goon for Ovechkin in Washington. Now, whenever you hear the word goon, you think to yourself, oh, he must stink at hockey. This dude's unbelievable at hockey. He's incredibly handsome. He's wildly tough, willing to fight you, and he is a freight train. This guy is everything that you would want as a hockey player, especially if he's playing for your team. And if you're like the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are the Washington Capitals' biggest rival for a long time, you hate everything about this guy. Cannot wait to chit-chat with him in 39 minutes or so about their upcoming task of trying to take on 25,000 plus Caniacs in Carolina. They are underdogs heading into the next series against Carolina Hurricanes. How do they feel about that? We shall see. Shams Charania will be joining us in about 19 minutes to chit-chat about everything going on in the NBA. Heard Reggie Miller's taking production meetings to the air.
What?
That's what he said.
Sounds like
took his production meeting with JJ and said, I actually had to calm down JJ in the production meeting. He was acting a little immature. Okay, Reggie, you've done a lot for this city. I'm a big fan of Reggie Miller. Feel like those production meetings are supposed to be sacred ground, at least in our sport it is. We'll talk to Shams about that, what's going to happen with LA. This was a massive disappointment for the Lakers, I would assume. What do they do next? And also, Anthony Edwards is that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is the NBA prepared for Anthony Edwards to be the guy? Shams will tell us all about it. He is fun to watch. He is an absolute dog. Took a victory lap around LA last night. Just walked around with a couple of his friends outside in the streets, just letting them know. When I hear Lakers in 5, you heard that a lot. Then I heard whenever we were up 3-1, they said Lakers in 7. How about this? Wolves in 5. And let's keep it moving. I'm excited to watch what he's able to do. Can he lead that team all the way to the NBA Finals to take on the Pacers potentially, the Cavs potentially, the Celtics maybe the Knicks? We shall see. I'm excited for this guy to be a part of our sports world for at least the next 10 years. Just an absolute beast, an incredible basketball player, moxie through the roof, and he hasn't changed one bit, which some people probably are mad about. We, here at our particular program, absolutely love. Can't wait to catch up with Shams about all things NBA. And then next hour, we got the general manager. The run of NFL general managers continues here. The week after the draft is a good time to catch up with them. Joe Hortiz of the Los Angeles Chargers will chit-chat about some of the decisions he had to make to continue to build that culture in Harbaugh's image. They bring in Omari and Hampton, which a lot of people thought was maybe the number one running back, even though Ashton Genty was clearly the number one running back. This conversation got started. What were they focusing on? What do they need to do next year? And how's that building that we got to see?
Yeah.
That owner spent like $300 million or something building a practice facility. You never ever see that happen in the modern world. How's Hortiz feel about the team? How's Harbaugh doing? And we'll chit-chat with him in the next hour. Now, the Talks Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Con man, great time for sports right now.
Yeah, unbelievable. The whole Anthony Edwards conversation is sweet, but again, last night for me, the hockey kind of took over right off the bat. You know, Alexander Ovechkin in the Capitals Canadiens game. You know, you expect Ovi to do something cool, but power play, face off, 1T. You really can't draw it up better than that. It's something watching Ovechkin. Like, we're talking about how great some of the young players are, McJesus, and how sweet he is.
And Chucky's a dog.
Chucky's a dog. Marchand, don't even get me started. We'll get there. But Ovechkin, just watching him still doing it for the Capitals is sweet. Bands make a dance, Mr. Bands. I forget how to say his actual name. He had the second goal, which would end up being the game winner because they end up winning 4-1. Tom Wilson had a goal and an assist, actually an assist on the second one. Yeah, those stats that he just did in that first game, of course, L'Habitants, mothers, I believe, love Ovi. Who knows if this is from the playoff series? I assume this was probably during one of the hockey teams' mothers' weeks as they do with travel. But yeah, look at that. 5 games in the playoffs so far. Ovechkin's got 4 goals, 5 points, 19 shots, 19 hits. This guy's 39 years old. He's the greatest goal scorer of all time. And, from something like that, he also shows up in the biggest moments. The Capitals going on a run would be huge for hockey. The next game was Panthers Lightning.
Oh,
obviously the Panthers, the team. They just won the cup. This was the battle for Florida. It wasn't a battle whatsoever. The Cats blew them out. It ended up being kind of close in the second. It was a 3-3 game, and then Sam Bennett right off the power play, penalty kill. He comes in, snipe 4-3, and that also was, ended up being the game winner because the Lightning could not score again. The Florida Panthers are going on another run, folks. Don't look now. They added Marchand. It was incredible. What Marchand was doing last night, this was their 5th goal, I believe. Marchand I've been here before, one-timer goal, 5-3. See you guys later. Chucky said after the game, we're talking about this rivalry of Florida. This ain't a rivalry, folks. Okay, this is back-to-back years now. The Florida Panthers eliminate the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think both of them were in 5 games as well, so that's a blowout. That's a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, Chuck said this ain't a rivalry.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about Florida rivalry. That's cute. Bug windshield type situation is what Chucky said down there. And I like that because the Bolts had their run.
Oh, yeah.
And now it feels like the Florida Panthers are going to have their run. And if Darius J. Butler was here, he would say we're the state of hockey, brother, which is crazy to think about what's going on down in Florida.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, especially because Tampa, I believe they were the higher seed in this series. It's not as if Tampa was kind of squeaking in with a wild card spot. Tampa was a very good team, and the Panthers, they just kind of have that experience. They're rolling right now, and they beat the brakes off the Lightning. The last game last night was the Jets Blues. The Winnipeg Jets got it done. Kyle Connor, who also was a Four Nations player for Team USA.
Yeah.
He got it rolling. A couple snipes. I believe he ended up with 3 points. He had 2 assists in the game as well. The Winnipeg Jets are rolling. The kind of story of this game, though, was the Winnipeg Jets player, I want to say Mark Sheffley. I might be saying Shifley, his last name, something along those lines. He got hurt, and the coaches kind of got into it post-game. Monty, Jim Montgomery, historic coach in the NHL, also the coach of the Bruins, fired mid-season this year. He goes to St. Louis. They end up going on a run, making the playoffs. He said after the game, one of their best players, he got hurt from a certain hit. The other coach for the Jets, he basically came out and said, I didn't know Monty had his PhD in anatomy. This guy's calling out injuries and when he gets it. So that's kind of the story there. But no, the NHL playoffs have been incredible.
Yeah, they certainly have. They continue tonight. Leafs, Senators, Golden Knights, Wild. Knights are up 3-2. Are they going to be able to put the Wild away?
Need to, and it's huge that this one is in the Midwest, so we got a 7:30 puck drop and not a 10:30 puck drop.
Texas hockey against the Avalanche. That's become a little bit of a series there. Texas hockey can put that away, 3-2 in Colorado. And then LA in Edmonton is the nightcap on ESPN. The NHL playoffs have been showing up just like the NHL playoffs always show up.
Yeah.
You talk about coaching beef. Steve Kerr's bitching again.
Oh, well.
I feel like that.
The sky's blue, too.
Steve Kerr is whining a little bit about what's going on with Steph Curry. Steph Curry's thumb, obviously a big talking point right now because Steph Curry is a shooter, so his hand having any type of injury is obviously worthy of chatter. The Golden State Warriors social media team put out this photo. So we obviously talk about the NFL social media teams. We don't have a great relationship with a lot of the NFL social media teams because the NFL social media teams are social media degree havers, which what does that mean? Okay, nothing. That means they wasted their time in college learning about what social media used to be because social media is literally changing every single day. So a lot of these young kids who have these social media degrees, they kind of bamboozle these old heads and say, we got your social media understood. But if they don't know ball, they can really lead you astray. Now, I don't know what Golden State Warriors social media team is. Okay, I don't know the NBA social media team. I don't know how they go about hiring process. But if you put your team into a situation where they have to answer some questions, if you release a photo that looks super cool, but don't realize like the storyline of this entire thing is if he's healthy or not, and then that thumb makes its way onto the internet, there's going to be people that are going to wonder. This has now become a massive storyline with the Houston team because Houston's been attacking his thumb. Dylan Brooks, obviously bad guy around the NBA, formerly of the Memphis Grizzlies, now on a young, scrappy Houston Rockets team. He said if I had a bad ankle, they'd be attacking my ankle. If I had a bad shoulder, they'd be attacking my shoulder. And I'm going to say to Dylan Brooks' point, I'm not normally on that guy's side. Because he seems like he's just a big goon, but that's 100% right. Like if a guy's hand is potentially injured and he is the greatest shooter in the history, and that team is potentially going to live or die on whether or not that guy's going to be able to hit, and I can reach in and potentially grab a ball and also get a little bit of a shot on that and reach. I'm probably going to do that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what competition actually is, and that's how athletes view things. Steph Curry has yet to say a single thing about it. He said, I love this league. I don't know what you're talking about. He just goes out there, runs 5 miles back and forth. The NBA showed up as well. So shout out to Steph battling through. Shout out to the Houston Rockets doing their thing. And shout out to Ant-Man, kind of putting the Lakers to sleep. Yeah. We'll obviously talk to Shams in about 10 minutes or so to see what his thoughts are on all of it around the LA story. But this Anthony Edwards dude is the guy. It is so much fun to watch him. Now, I know you're shaking your head because of Tatum. Tatum is so boring. So I think that is kind of the reason why Tatum isn't the face of the league at this point. Anthony Edwards has so much moxie on the court, off the court. Now, he has made some mistakes. I think he's a young man who has a lot of dog in him. So there's going to be some situations that come with that. Not everybody who is blessed with a dog mentality and a go-get-it moxie are going to make all the right decisions all the time, especially whenever you're in the spotlight. So I think he would even say 10, 15 years from now that he hasn't handled every situation perfectly off the court. But watching him on the court and the way he leads that team, and the way that team kind of rallies around the way he plays, the way this city appreciates the way he plays, knocking out that Lakers team, and I know the conversation everywhere else is the Lakers are done, and we will certainly have that convo because LeBronversation happened with us, and we're very lucky and thankful to be a part of this Lakers season this year. But this dude deserves all the conversation and all the credit on that you can give him, I think, personally. Not just on the internet, on TV, all the time. He's fun. And I like the Minnesota Timberwolves social media team. Now, you talk about a social media team kind of getting it. They pulled out a LeBron James quote where LeBron said, whenever I feel like somebody is in better shape than me or running better than me on the court, then it might be time to kind of hang it up. And then they just cut to an Anthony Edwards clip of him walking down a hallway saying, hell yeah, I want to go one-on-one with Bron. Anybody that's saying they don't, I want to dog Bron. Like, that is what I want to be. This guy is the one of the ones. Now, what does the future look like? I think it's very bright for the NBA. But the face of the league type conversation that is happening, that people are trying to force upon things, that's like a nickname. I don't think nicknames are just like kind of made up by the person. I think it kind of just takes over in itself. This is going to be one of the guys. And as somebody that appreciates dogs, I think we talk about it more than any other sports show. I appreciate the way this guy goes about doing his business. I appreciate his mindset. And I appreciate the fact that they're winning, even though they're not the team that is necessarily spending all the money to try to build up that roster.
No, and you mentioned it. I love the fact that he's in Minnesota and he's not in LA or New York or like a
Chicago,
Chicago, massive market. Like, that's awesome. And I also think with all this stuff about him being like one of the future faces of the NBA, that's why it's huge that A-Rod's one of the owners now. Like, you have a guy who was, steroid stuff aside, and he'll never get into the Hall of Fame, but like he was the guy in baseball for a long time, and he understands that whole process. So and he said he has a great relationship with Ant, kind of understands they're going to do whatever they can to kind of maximize this window and make sure that, Minnesota, back when Kevin Garnett was there, it was kind of the same deal and they never got it done. But now I think they understand, and we've seen what he's done in the playoffs the last several years. They understand what they have in him, and I think they're really going to maximize this next 10 to 12 years.
Great highlight there for Anthony Edwards. Not great for Luka on that particular play. Genius IQ, who I don't know who that it's a new stats giver, I guess, on the I have no idea where they are.
I hit their homepage. It looks very expensive, so I would trust their data.
Genius IQ, good name. That's a good brand name. They said that Luka had the most blow-bys, or got blown by the most out of in the history of playoffs or something last night. And this would go right back to what Nico was saying in Dallas, and as you watch the game and JJ's decisions on subbing, it's like everything that was talked about between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers trade, the reason for the trade, how JJ is, it's all just kind of combusting today. So a lot of Minnesota Timberwolves fans, I think, are talking about come on, we're Pacers fans, so I understand completely. Like, the Pacers weren't talked about, it was the Bucks. Why did they lose it? Why? And Tyrese's dad, it was never like the Pacers just
outplayed them.
Just beat the hell out of the Bucks. There's no conversation about that. So I can see how Wolves fans would be upset. But the biggest storyline of the year was that trade.
Yes.
And then for that trade to end up working out exactly how, I think the haters of the trade kind of wanted it to work. It's a fascinating stitch. That's why I can't wait to hear from Shams. The NBA is obviously on fire. We got 2 more games this evening. Knicks and Pistons. That's going to be a dogfight.
Here we go. Yeah.
Knicks are currently up 3-2, but the Pistons will punch you in the face. I mean, that is legitimately what the Detroit Pistons will do. And then we got Nuggets-Clippers, which has been a phenomenal series. Joker on the right there, number 15 on the graphic. If you don't know who he is, obviously, that is a man who is an absolute dog, has been a champion before. Coach and GM fired about 10 days before the playoffs started, 2 weeks ago in the playoffs. He has become player, coach, GM for the Nuggets. That number 15 right there. They are favored by 6.5 tonight. They are currently up 3-2. They could win this series against the Clippers, even though the Clippers have come kind of had a surge here through the playoffs with health, with that guy Kawhi Leonard that's right behind Joker there, James Harden playing ball. And then on the other side, Jalen Brunson's about to get beat up for another 4 quarters by this Pistons team. Can the Knicks handle it? Let's go to a man who's a behind-the-glass member of the Hammer Dahn podcast, and he's a utility player here at the Thunderdome. He's former horse owner, so he'll tell us about the Kentucky Derby that's happening this weekend. Obviously, we all knew that. And he also has some boxing sweet science stats to chit-chat about here today. Knicks have a chance to put this away. Are you worried about the Pistons beating them up, though? That is literally what the Pistons basketball is.
I'm certainly worried. If they don't win tonight in Game 6, it goes back to the Garden. Game 7, a la last year with the Pacers, where they basically ran out of gas in front of the home crowd. I could see that happening here, where we either lose in 7 to the Pistons. And, vibes are low where even if we do win in 6 or 7 against the Pistons, we're going to get swept by Boston Connor's fucking Celtics.
Yep.
There is no real hope. You were
Come on!
You were
You
talking
can't
about
do that.
Hey, why doesn't Tibbs cut that?
He should.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe he needs to do that. I was watching that game the other night. I'm like, I got no chance.
It's America's last great comb over.
I don't think it's comb over though.
Well, yeah.
Comb over would be from one side to the other. That's from middle of head to left middle of head.
Hold it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he paints it on. I respect that he's doing it, but there is a moment where I assume every single day where he looks at that where he goes, I should just
get rid of
maybe he puts the rally head on. Maybe he puts a rally head on here to slow down the Pistons and he just shaves that thing off. Just go with the Jefferson. Just make sure he has that thing around the top.
He's got to do something. It's been dysfunctional all year despite the 51 wins. It's been dysfunctional in this series against the Pistons, culminating in, Brunson and Hart being out with 3 minutes left and not being able to sub back in because we burned their timeouts and then they both got injured on the same play, and then yada, yada, yada. We're kind of a mess, but the Timberwolves front office deserves a ton of credit too we basically traded for Karl Anthony Towns from them and exported all of our dogs. Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh, I saw him making some shots.
Yeah, they're both perfect complementary pieces to put around that alpha dog, Anthony Edwards. They're the real deal, and we're, the question now is, can this Knicks team be as good or better than last year's Knicks team? And it doesn't feel like we can.
Oh, it feels like the East is going to run through Boston, Cleveland, or Indiana.
Yes.
I saw a lot of Cavaliers fans saying, you talk to Tyrese, why don't you talk about the Cavs? We have.
Yeah.
Okay, watch the show. Don't just watch clips. Have a little bit of respect for the biz. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone. What are we looking at whenever it comes to gambling odds on this NBA?
If you want, we could start right there. The Cavs-Pacers series has been, it's already set in stone. That's what's going to happen in the second round. The Cavs are minus 500 to win that series, which is interesting. No respect for the Sirs from the books.
What's that all about?
What is all that
Cavs
all
are
about?
really good.
I understand. They've been really good all season, too.
Yeah.
But their record, Pacers record, for the last 50 games, very similar. So I'm not saying that the Cavs didn't have a much better season, because before All-Star break, the Cavs were much better than the Pacers were before the All-Star break. But coming into the playoffs, the Pacers were hot. Cavs obviously remained hot. I guess they're just more consistent. Is that why people have talked about that for the whole season as opposed to just post-All-Star break?
Yeah, I assume, man, just because they haven't really shown any sort of weakness. But even coming into the postseason, they weren't as dominant as they were kind of early on and even towards the middle of the year. So minus 500 is insane. I just assume there's a lot of money coming in on them for game one, is my assumption, just because of how good they are.
Something I found interesting also in the betting markets tonight, two teams that are both up 3-2 would be the Knicks and the Nuggets. Both those teams are dogs tonight, okay? So, the books are assuming potentially both those teams could lose tonight and they go to 3-3. But for the series, the Knicks are minus 520 to win the series. Okay, and then Denver's minus 200 to win the series. So both those teams who are up 3-2 are dogs tonight, but they're heavy favorites still to win the series.
So they say it's going to 7, but they need to be at home. They need to get home quickly to kind of do this because Detroit's going to be a tough barn.
Brother, Detroit's going to be rocking. We haven't won a home playoff game. The Pistons have not won a home playoff game since 2008. And then after what happened last time at home, the refs screwed us. They're going to be going absolutely bonkers. So I expect it to be a good game tonight.
And then you think about the Clippers, that's the Intuit Dome there. That's going to be rocking as well. So the sports books think once the higher seeded teams get back home here, they're going to be able to close it out. But look for 2 Game 7 series in the NBA. I think if you ask Adam Silver, he'd be like, all right. Yeah, we like that. We like the 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 basically happening everywhere. To get a couple Game 7s would be a beautiful thing for the NBA.
Yeah, that's every game tonight, too, with the playoffs, NBA and NHL. Every team, every series tonight is a 3-2 series. So we could legitimately see 6 Game 7s forced tonight between
Let's go sports, baby!
Hell yeah.
Joining us now is senior NBA insider for ESPN, friend of the program, ladies and gentlemen, the ever-handsome Shams Charania.
Yeah.
Shams, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? Are we good? We're having some camera issues.
Yeah, I think.
Gotta make sure it's all good. I see the tank is back though.
Yeah,
That's
well, Indy 500. It's May in Indianapolis. You know, it's the greatest month a city can have is May in Indy because it all culminates with the Indy 500. I believe this is the 109th running of the Indy 500 coming here at the end of the month. But all month leading up to it, there's just events basically every single day celebrating our city, celebrating the race. And I just got this fresh tank from the wife yesterday. And it's May, so I might as well. Samantha. Yeah, shout out Sam. Shout out Sam. Shout out Mrs. McAfee Show on Instagram and X, even though she doesn't use X ever. Nonetheless, basketball. We got a couple Game 7 possibilities here. He just talked about the odds of tonight, both underdogs, the teams that are down 3-2, are supposed to win. They're favored to win. Game 7, though, both Nuggets and Knicks back at their home barn scheduled to win if you go by what the odds are to win the series. How should we be viewing these games tonight? Do we think that the Clippers at home are a problem? Do we think that the Pistons, after what happened last game, are a problem? How do you kind of see these going? And is there any injury reports that we need to know before we bet on any of these games?
Yeah, so as far as Detroit, still don't know if Isaiah Stewart, their big man, he hasn't played for most of this series. He's dealing with a knee issue. Don't know yet if he's going to be available to play tonight. But
that's Beef Stew.
He's missed the last few games.
If Beef Stewart's back in there, we thought it was physical before.
Oh, yeah.
Beef Stew's going to bring the pain.
He's going to beat the hell out of them.
It seems unlikely, but we'll see.
Can't he just go out there and take 6 fouls?
Good strategy, actually.
Yeah, just some. MCDC added AC/DC concert last night. Yep. Shout out to him enjoying his time. MCDC would have Beef Stew out there. All right, let's start this game. You're actually taking the jump ball, but you're not jumping, just low bridge. Yep. All right, we'll take a foul. Yeah, I guess Tech. Sorry about it. Let's keep it moving. Beef Stew, though, is an enforcer, right? A game changer for you guys?
Yeah, he's an enforcer. He's been one of our guys all year long. I'd actually like it if they kept him on the bench and then Stone Cold Glass hits, and then he comes out there. He hits Brunson, he hits Hart, he hits Cat.
Like actually punches them is what you're talking about.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'd love that. That'd be everything Detroit wants to see tonight.
Hey, Shams, they're physical. I was watching that. I haven't seen much of the Pistons this year. I apologize. Cade, I guess, is a baller, and obviously Foxy keeps me updated on it all. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't feel obligated to have to watch their games. They are physical. Like Jalen Brunson has at least 1 to 2 dudes hitting him every time he has the ball. His little run through, turnaround fade at like the free throw line is basically what he has to do. Pistons been playing that way all year. Is this the new norm in the NBA? Because I think I saw the New York Times talking about maybe basketball's too physical right now. Is that a conversation that's actually taking place?
I think it's good for the game. I mean, the fact that, to me, it shows competitiveness, the parity in the league right now that exists. Like, guys want to win clearly, and you're seeing it. And I actually like when they're able to have a little level of physicality. Again, there's levels to how much can you allow, how much you don't want to allow. You don't want guys to spill over. You don't want fans to get involved with players and stuff to spill into the crowd. But it's good for the game overall. But I think with the Pistons, I spoke to Cade Cunningham before the start of the playoffs. He told me like they've embraced this bad boys Pistons. The old bad boys Pistons from the 80s and 90s, they've embraced that. And I think what Cade Cunningham told me is when you're in Detroit, you know it, you feel it, and you want to actually make good on what that old bad boys culture is about. So I think this group, and it probably starts with guys like Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris coming over from Philadelphia. He got a lot of flack in Philly the last few years, and then he's come in, played such a big role for them as a leader. And what we've seen from guys like Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., it's all surrounding a guy that, to me, probably is going to be an all-NBA player, going to be a guy that's going to be a face of that franchise and a face of one of the young faces of this NBA, and Cade Cunningham. He's the real deal. He's all about winning. You see the fabrics of what it takes to win all in him. This series could easily be 3-2 the other way for Detroit. And
Refs,
the same case with Denver and the Clippers. That's a very tightly contested series, too. So tonight, I think we have two series that could easily go 7 games.
I'm excited to watch tonight. Shout out to the NBA delivering. Obviously, hey, is Joker the coach, GM, and star of that team over there? Is that accurate?
Well, Nikola Jokic, the moment that firing happened, I think what we've seen, even before then, he was a little bit vocal, but he's been unleashed. And when I talk to people around Denver, they say Nikola Jokic is finally comfortable with the power, with the influence, with who he is as a player. And before, I think we hadn't seen him as maybe demonstrative or as vocal, but right now he's showing it. And I don't think it's like the power that he feels like he can yield, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to fire this coach, I'm going to trade this player. It's like, how can I influence my teammates? Like, this is the first time I think we've seen Nikola Jokic's career where he is going about it every night and he's trying to influence how his teammates are behaving, how they're playing. And it's not going to be guys like Jamal Murray. Him and Jamal Murray have a long relationship. And I think there is a level of trust with Jamal Murray that when the lights are on the brightest, Jamal Murray's going to show up. And he has, at least last game he did. But you see Nikola Jokic talking to some of his younger teammates and everyone in that roster. He is as vocal as we've ever witnessed.
I'm happy to see that.
And this is someone that's never this vocal.
I'm happy to see that. And Joker needs to know, and I assume he'll experience this by himself, just like he did with that parade. You know, whenever they told him that after they won a championship that the parade was like 3 days away, he was like, I don't want to wait.
Horses.
I got horse race to go back to. And then he gave a speech at the parade. He goes, I know I say I don't want parade. After parade, I want parade. Like, I think through experiences, he learns that maybe enjoying the fruits of his labor isn't a bad thing. I think we saw that with the parade. But also him opening up like this more, I think he's going to realize that people are going to think that he cares more. Like that is going to be the natural reaction from people. Because in that kind of conversation, like, this guy's so good, he's unbelievable, but he doesn't seemingly care. And we know that he cares, has to care to get that good at basketball. The amount of time that he has to spend off season to get to be as good of a player or throughout his life that he is, he has to care. But once you're more vocal and more demonstrative and start showing things, I think it's just more natural for people that don't necessarily know you to be like, oh, that guy's invested entirely. And I think that's awesome if we're in the era of Joker becoming like a little bit more of a personality. Good for the NBA, I think, from what I've heard. I think he's probably a hilarious human being.
Yeah.
I would assume Joker has a great personality. He's obviously an incredible basketball player. But if he's going to start being a little bit more assertive, I think that's good for the NBA as a whole. Now, let's pivot to last night. Not good for the NBA.
No.
Not good for the NBA. I know you were pulling for it. I know Adam Silver was pulling for it. Luka and
Edwards was not pulling for it. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Edwards is one guy that was not pulling for it.
And I'm pulling for Anthony Edwards forever, by the way. Whenever he's playing for Team USA, whenever he's playing for whatever team he's playing, if it's going to be the Timberwolves for his entire career, which I think would be a very cool story, especially in this modern basketball world, I will be pulling for him. Luka, LeBron, though, exit. First round exit in 5 games. Obviously, there were some moments last night that are going to highlight Luka's inability to try on defense or inability to play defense, which is what Nico was mentioning whenever he decided to make this trade and since this trade has happened. When Luka gets traded to the Lakers, obviously Luka went to the finals last year with the Mavericks, and they don't make it to the finals, and they don't win a championship. It has been a full-on, this was a catastrophe for the Lakers this year. Going into the All-Star break before the trade happened or whatever, I don't think the Lakers were that good. They get Luka, all of a sudden expectations now are a championship. JJ Redick is getting judged harshly because of how things are getting handled, even by Reggie Miller about production meetings, which I didn't know was a lot. I love Reggie. Reggie's done a lot for Indiana. I'm not saying anything, but I didn't know that was like how your guys' sport works. Ours doesn't work like that. But with that being said, Lakers being out, is this considered a massive failure by all parties? And what happens in the offseason now going forward?
I think everyone expected. I mean, everyone was predicting, right, the Lakers to win. Like from a media perspective, I guess you think about fan perspective, and Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves organization. I remember talking to people in Minnesota before the series started, and they're like, "Why is everyone picking the Lakers? We literally had one less win than them, right?" And you think about the seedings that went on in the Western Conference between 2 or about 3 and 8. It really just jumbled up. There was one game separating them. So even though the Lakers were the 3 seed, Minnesota was the 6th seed, there wasn't much difference in this team. I think what we saw here was, you have to give, first of all, Anthony Edwards a lot of credit. I don't know if Dragon Slayer is the right term. You think about who he's beaten the last couple years in the playoffs: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic now this year. He's taken it to some big name players in this league, and at such a young age. And when I talk to people in Minnesota, they talk about someone, even though he might not have the best shooting night sometimes, he's emerged as a leader of this team, and he's emerged as the guy that when the going gets tough, you can rely on him. And this team got a lot of flack during the season, and Julius Randle took a lot of it too, but he's looking like a great get for them. Rudy Gobert last night played amazing, so this is a real team. But when I look at it from the Lakers' perspective, Luka Doncic said last night he's still dealing with like exhaustion mentally, and he needs rest, and he needs that trade. It changed everything for him, for the Lakers, for the Mavericks, obviously, and I think we saw him. He's continuing to deal with that. I'm sure he's going to still need some time to deal with the closure, but this is a team that JJ Redick has said it. Anthony Davis said it before he got traded. LeBron James has said it. Like, they needed a center, and they need a big man, and that's going to be their number one focus in the offseason, is going and finding a center. This is as simple as I can put it. The Timberwolves had Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Julius Randle at center. The Lakers had Jackson Hayes, and that's who they played at center in this series.
And if you think back, the Nuggets, Joker, like that has been the Lakers' kind of Achilles heel throughout this entire thing, which is why I assume AD said it before he got traded, and why I think we all would assume that this would end up happening for the Lakers, because LeBron's teams make moves, especially if LeBron thinks that it's something that is a necessity, right? So we assume that's going to happen with the Lakers. Who would be available?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little early on names. I mean, do you go the free agent route? Do you go the trade route? They do have some draft picks. The one thing the Lakers can say is they've got flexibility. They've got some contracts you can trade. They've got 2 or 3 first-round picks they can move. So they have an ability if they want to explore trades. But what player out there will make a difference? Obviously, they made the trade for Mark Williams, rescinded that. But that is going to be the number one focus for the Lakers, and JJ Redick spoke to it after the game, before the game, like he can be better too. And whether it's inexperience, and you think about that game 4 when JJ Redick played his entire group in the second half, that was clearly a gamble that he made. And I think some of the players on the team could have also looked at it and said, we probably needed a breather there, but the coach rode with us and he kept us in there. If JJ Redick could do it over again, he probably makes a sub in the second half. But again, that's the part of being a first-time head coach. He showed a lot of signs of being a really, really good coach in the NBA.
I appreciate that. He also isn't just a cookie-cutter press conference. It was a big stir whenever he gave the answer he gave about consulting with his assistant coaches, because the way he took the question was, so you think I'm an idiot? You think I'm an absolute idiot is what I'm hearing. And then, JJ Redick, from the stories we've heard about how ultra competitive he is, inside his brain, he starts going, this guy thinks he knows basketball more than I do, this person. So that probably gives him a little bit of I'm just assuming as this person is indicating that JJ doesn't know ball is how JJ Redick is going to take it. JJ doesn't know how to do his job. There's people that are on his bench that know how to do his job better than him, maybe. That is how JJ takes that question. I'm not saying that's how the question was meant. Feels like probably was. But if it wasn't meant that way, I think that is how JJ takes it. Then JJ gives the answer. So you don't think I consult with my assistant coaches every single time we have a timeout? And then he basically ends his press conference at that morning, or at that moment, walks out. So then he stormed out, he's this. Then Reggie Miller said he was acting immature or something like that. And
do we have that clip of Reggie Miller saying that? People keep saying that. I didn't hear it.
We do not have the clip either. Wendy is the one that reported it on Get Up this morning. It's like, I love JJ Redick. He was good to us. We had him on the show. He was very nice to us. I like he's a former player that's running this thing. I like that he was getting absolutely murdered whenever he was hired. Like, this could have been his dream job to be an NBA, to be a coach. When he got hired, it was just a murder scene. Then he gets the team good, gets the team playing well. Obviously, they make a massive trade for a great player, and he continues to just not act like a cookie cutter person that they want him to act. So I appreciate that. Do you think there is going to be a change in JJ Redick, though, the way he acts? Do you think they're going to like put the clamps on him and tell him he's going to have to act differently? Like, I don't know how the NBA works. Like, will Adam Silver say, like, hey, can't have you just like telling reporters they're doofuses basically whenever you do this. Can't have you doing this. Or will they let JJ continue to be JJ? And is everybody excited about the possibilities of JJ being actually a potentially a good coach as opposed to how he's being painted right now?
Anyone that knows JJ Redick knows he will only be himself at all times. There's no really adjusting with him from a personality perspective. But what I will say is, and he's spoken to it, this was his first year as a head coach in the NBA. He's a rookie head coach. So any person that starts anything, whether when you first started out, when I first started out, like, we're different from our first day, our first year, to when we develop, as we get lessons, as we continue to grow. And I think what we're going to see from JJ Redick in the offseason, next season, the years to come, is a refined version of how he is. Now, you're never going to get rid of that grit that he has. You're never going to get rid of that edge. You're never going to get rid of that. LeBron, this is in LeBron James' words, and I think this is what he said. He said JJ Redick is a dickhead. This is literally what LeBron James said. So I didn't say it. Yeah. I promise I didn't say it.
No, he said it right here. He said it right here.
Thank you. Yeah, he said it on PMS. So he said it. So everyone knows around the NBA what JJ Redick is like. Now, what you can refine is some of the things you learn in games. And then there were some stories, him breaking clipboards during training camp and during the early, parts of practice. And those are things that over time, how do you channel that in the best way? And I think everyone around the NBA
maybe he does it forever.
JJ Redick is a coach. And he might be breaking clipboards every single year. But at the end of the day, it's about, do you get buy-in from your players? Do your players understand where you're coming from? Do your players respond to what you're teaching? There's never going to be a commissioner call like, we need JJ Redick to change. There's never going to be like anyone in that Lakers organization telling JJ Redick, we need you. JJ Redick is JJ Redick. But how can you refine? And I think there's a lot of confidence in that organization around the NBA. A lot of people are high on JJ Redick.
I would assume his coaching style is going to remain the same, but I assume just because he's not going to want to have to deal with the bullshit. Like, having them attack him for being immature and everything, he's probably going to be like, okay, it would be nice. It might be nice if that's not in my life going forward. So might change the way he does deal with press. And I'd like to say we're going to call him boring. If he gets to a boring point, I'm not going to be happy about us changing him, okay? I'm not going to be happy about getting boring answers out of JJ Redick. Hopefully that never takes place. But, hey, good luck, JJ. It was your first year. You're going to be judged off the success you have. First round exit, first year.
Yikes.
It's the Lakers' job, too, though. And the Lakers' job is judged by championships or bust, especially when you have Luka Doncic and the guy that we haven't even spoken about yet, LeBron James. And that's the other, big elephant in the room for the Lakers.
Yeah, what is it? He's playing, right? What is the elephant in the room?
I mean, for sure. How long is LeBron James going to play? There's no expectation for LeBron James to retire. I will say that. My understanding is he will play at least another NBA season. You think about next year, 2025, 26. It'll be year 23. That would set a league record. Year 23 for number 23. The All-Star game is in Los Angeles. He's potentially playing in Los Angeles. There's a lot of stars that would align for next season, potentially, if that's what LeBron James decides. He'd be 41 years old in December. He's 40 years old right now. So the expectation is he's going to be playing at least another season. But again, how long? And the other thing, Pat, is does the Bryce James, his son, does that factor play into it at all? His son is going to be potentially draft eligible in 2026 next year. So if he feels at some point next year Bryce James might be an NBA player, might be a draft eligible player, does he extend that window? I think That's the only potential caveat that you think of out there that could keep LeBron James even longer than at least one more year. But we saw his answer last night. He's very non-committal. And every time a Lakers season, or really a Cavs season in the past, a Miami Heat season in the past has ended since he's been like 25, 26, what he's been saying is, I'm going to take time with my family, I'm going to talk to my advisors, my support system, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a decision on where I'm going to land at. Before it was about free agency. Before it was about where he's going to end up. Now it's about, is he going to play anymore and how long he's going to play. Either way, him coming back to the Lakers, there's going to be a lot of questions. He's got a $54 million player option. So what do you do there? Do you opt in? Do you opt out? My feel is that he probably opts into that. And then from there, it's like, what does the Lakers roster look like? Because this was a LeBron James at 40 years old that was playing games and playing significant minutes as a center. And I don't expect that to be in his future, to be playing the center position at 41 years old. This is not sustainable for LeBron James at this point in his career.
Okay, player option in, $39 million. Not going to be playing center. You said potentially playing
$54 million. You just took 15.
I didn't mean that. Sorry, I misheard. That's on me. For $54 million player opt-in option. You said potentially play, potential All-Star game, potentially playing in LA. If he plays again, he's definitely playing in Los Angeles. That's definitely the case.
He hasn't indicated anything otherwise.
Okay, cool.
I mean, to leave Los Angeles at this point in his life and his career, Sweet. I mean, I guess you'd never say never. You'd never say never, but all the indications would be that's where he would retire. He said it publicly. That's where he would want to retire.
Okay, and I very much understand him. Maybe at the age of 40, as soon as the season ends, and you're devastated and bummed, and everybody's talking shit on you, that you just want to think about, do I want to sign up for this again? The answer is probably yes. I don't think he's ever said anything whenever asked directly about it from us or anybody else that doesn't sound like he's not going to play next year. But at that age, with how many minutes he played, with how it ended, I don't blame somebody just for a second being like, do I want to sign up for this again? Just for, I don't know, a day, a week, maybe. It happens in our sport. I'm happy to see that LeBron's going to take time to fully commit yet again, and we're excited to watch him. And Bryce James might be the one. Not that Bronny isn't. Bronny obviously ended up having some minutes with the Lakers, and he's much better at basketball now than he was at the beginning of the season. They hope for that to continue, but it's like Bryce is big, tall, fast, and strong. Okay, we appreciate all that news. We have a rapid-fire situation here because we do have a guest lined up in like a minute and a half, and he could beat up all of us, so we don't want to do that. But Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Shams, we're talking about all these teams who are eliminated. The Celtics are still in it. Let's talk real shop here. Excuse me, geez. Is there a chance? Sorry,
you're choking up already. What happened?
Is there a chance the Celtics have to make changes at the end of the year here? It feels as though the Boston kind of way they're set up because of the fact that Tatum and Jalen have both been drafted there. That the luxury tax isn't as massive. Is that the case, or are we looking at a situation where Boston might have to make some changes?
BC, you were just choking up. I don't know. You're not going to want to hear this. I know you're not going to want to hear this. You might start bleeding from your ears. Right now, Boston is fully focused on winning a championship. Like, that is the number one focus, repeating. But I can tell you, the rest of the league is bracing for some level of change to come to the Celtics from their roster this offseason. And sources have been telling me for weeks now that the Celtics will be exploring trade options in the offseason. This team, this iteration just is not going to be sustainable for this team. And no one around the organization, from players to staffers, would be surprised if there are changes coming to this roster. Because when you think about the new collective bargaining agreement, there's restrictions that come with trades. There's restrictions that come with freezing of draft picks. That's all stuff that they're dealing with right now. They have 5 players right now scheduled to make $28 million or more next season. That's a league record. So they would have a salary bill of $500 million. That would be league history amount. And I think the Celtics knew when they traded for Jrue Holiday and they traded for Kristaps Porzingis, they'd be staring at this in the face this summer. But they're none of these changes are at the top of mind for the Celtics now. They can't be. And this is obviously the most talented team in the league. I think a lot of people would agree with that. So these are good problems to have, but the league is bracing for some level of change to come to this Celtics roster in the offseason.
Okay, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy, especially in the middle of a dynastic run to even think about what the future could be. You just sold it, I guess, for $6 billion, so $500 million. Nonetheless, quick, Giannis, do we have any answers? When do you think we'll get an answer?
I think everything around Giannis and Antetokounmpo right now, it's going to take some time because they just lost, and the way he operates, he's going to talk to his representation. Eventually, there's going to be a meeting between him and the Bucks, and eventually they're going to have to get on the same page of what this looks like. Is there a pathway for this organization to win? Pat, I'll give you a quick rundown. They don't have any cap space. They're very limited with players that they can trade with value. So when you think about how can you improve this team, you need players that other people want to really give up a lot for. They just don't have that. Bobby Portis is going to be a free agent. That's really the only guy that you can look at that would bring back significant value. But he's not. They don't have rights to him potentially. He's a free agent, and they don't have a draft pick until 2031. Yikes. They have one draft pick that they can trade. It's that year. Are you really going to trade a pick that far out? Their options are very, very limited to make this team better, and I think that's a reality. Eventually, in the coming weeks, Giannis and Antetokounmpo and the Bucks will be discussing.
That is, he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good. You put him on a team. I mean, I know he won, but, like, at this point, with the way they're set up from what you're just saying there, putting him on, like, what if he goes to the Lakers? Can't he go to the Lakers? Well, you want him in what if he comes to the Pacers?
Don't start this. Don't start.
What if he comes to the Pacers?
Minnesota with
Pacers would be interesting.
Pacers would be very interesting because, there's heat, but that means there's probably respect, too, about, like, hey, this is how this goes. And we've seen this in sport before where the people who seemingly are the biggest enemies are actually the ones who have the most amount of respect for each other because they maybe see the game the same way. Tibbs, hot seat. Bruce wants to know.
Yeah, is he coach for his job? Does he need to shave his head going a run here?
I haven't gotten an indication like that. I mean, I think his relationship with Leon Rose is very, very tight. But listen, at the end of the day, if you lose 3-1, you lose after going up 3-1, there's always going to be conversations.
All right. We appreciate the hell out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NBA insider for ESPN.
You see how we beat that time crunch? You see, we did it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, but it was good shit, so it doesn't matter because you are the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. This hour is presented by Ram Trucks. If you need a truck that you want to feel good in, look good in, and have enough power to do anything in, you get yourself a Ram truck. Now, whenever you see it, you say, damn, that's a good-looking Dodge Ram truck. And whenever you hear it, it's going to sound like, and if you were to get in, it's going to be like you're sitting on a cloud. It would be nothing like how it feels to play hockey against this man. This man is a Ram truck.
Yeah, yes, he is.
But somehow he has the of a sports car, which is kind of how a Ram truck.
It's like that Rebel Ram.
Kind of awful.
It's like a Rebel Ram.
This man was the second leading scorer on his team. This man was the only player in the NHL with 30 goals or more and 200 plus hits. It's his 12th year in the NHL, and we're still bringing it. Somehow, like hockey players, busted grills, dented faces, just been eating pucks. This guy, handsome himself. He's out of a movie. He'd be a villain if he's not on the team you're playing for, and a hero if he's playing for the team that you're a fan of. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Washington Capitals, that man, the assistant captain, Tom Wilson.
Yeah, Tommy.
Look at this son of a bitch. Look at this.
Hey, boys.
Listen, Tom, I'm sure you've heard that type of thing for your entire playing career. I don't know you from before your time at the Washington Capitals, where you were before. I know you're from Canada. I don't know your whole story. All I know is as a Pens fan, as soon as you showed up, I mean, all hell started breaking loose. And in a good way. It's like you're a throwback. You're obviously an incredibly tough guy on the ice. Your teammates love you. Everybody else hates you. Has that how it's always been? Has that just been your style of play your whole life?
Yeah. Growing up, throwing some big hits in minor hockey would always get the parents fired up. My dad and my mom would always catch some heat in the stands, so it's always been a part of my game. But obviously, try to evolve as a player. But the physicality is always. I still remember my first body check in practice when I was 8 years old, and I was fired up for it.
Okay, so there's rules, you know. Some of the ones that we see Are you trying to add a little extra and it gets a little loose because we're on ice? Or is a lot of it just everything's happening so fast in there? Because that's a big part of the story, right? In the hits. It's like, because the game is, they've tried to evolve the game, I think. You know, and people say they try to take fighting out of the game and physicality out of the game. I don't think that's the case at all, but I do think they tried to speed it up after the lockout or whatever it was. I think they tried to speed the game up a bit. So players like you kind of are getting phased out of it all. But then every once in a while there's a hit that comes in. Hockey people are even like, nah, we can't have that. What is the line? And is the line always moving on what's legal and what's not legal?
Yeah, I had to learn that a little bit. Obviously, when I came in, 12 years ago, it was a little bit different. The game was a little more old school. It's changing, in juniors as guys come into the league. They're not necessarily, ready to get hit sometimes, as the game changes. So I found I was getting myself in trouble when guys just weren't even seeing me coming and they weren't prepared to have me out there on the ice. I had to adjust my game a little bit, but obviously in the playoffs, it's a different beast. You want to be laying as many big hits as you can. You want to invest. You want to wear them down over the course of a series. So, I've always towed the line. Obviously, I've gotten in trouble a few times throughout my career.
Yeah.
It happens pretty quick. I mean, when we're talking to the department with the league or the player safety or whatever, we're talking tenths of a second sometimes. We're talking inches on execution. I always try to depend on my habits that I grew up, throwing the body. But sometimes it's fast and they can get messy, obviously.
It's all happening on ice, And the people that aren't hockey fans, I assume they watch the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and we got like Nathan Chen comes out and does this thing, and everybody's like, holy shit, they're doing that on ice. What you guys are able to do, when did you put your first set of skates on?
Probably 2.5 years old on the backyard rink up north.
So that's just normal, right? That's just like, so you guys are very, and how many months are you skating straight? Because when I put ice skates on or hockey skates on, my entire lower leg cramps immediately. My ass burns, and I'm like, I have no idea. You guys are able, it's the most impressive thing. Do you know the speeds you guys are going? Do they tell you the speeds? Like in football, we have all this satellite shit on the guys. Do they tell you guys how fast you're going?
I think it's like 24 miles per hour around there, kind of top speed.
How heavy are you? What's your size? What are you?
230, give or take.
24 miles an hour. He's like a Toyota Camry.
It's
unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about not just you being a hitter and a physical guy, even though that is a massive piece of your game. You're also talented. The guy's got some dangles, but he's playing alongside greatest of all time. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Tom, obviously this year was kind of covered very closely with the Capitals with Ovechkin's goal chase, but what is it like playing with a guy, like Alexander Ovechkin? When we had him on the program, he kind of went down and introduced the entire team, yourself included, and clearly he's a massive team guy, but to see him still doing this at age 39, damn near 40, what's it like night in and night out? And did you ever look at him when he's eating that Subway and hot Cheetos or drinking a soda on the bench like this isn't what hockey and greatness is supposed to be, or you're glad that it looks like that?
He's one of a kind. There's really no words to describe him. As you guys have seen, if I was doing what he was doing, there's no chance I'd be in the league. They don't make him like Ovi anymore. He's truly one of a kind, and he's an incredible leader. 20 seasons, banging bodies, scoring goals, blocking shots. You hear him coming when he's on the ice. Sometimes, obviously, he's a close friend now, but sometimes you just got to sit back and say, holy smokes, this isn't going to happen again for a long time. And it was an incredible season. I'm really proud of what he's done and what he did this year.
He was so cool on our show. We can't thank him enough for stopping by. Nobody in the history.
Yeah, everyone was wondering why you call me a son of a bitch. Everyone's like, "Hey, what the hell?"
They know.
I don't know.
They know. I mean, you know what you did to the Pens. I mean, what are we even talking about? That was a great rivalry for a long time. Literally.
Yeah, it was.
And now we're on the tail end, obviously, of that whole thing, and Dubas has got to figure that out. And I told him, he's young, okay, he's handsome. Bob, we need to
Let's get set
We need to figure this thing out. We got the guy here. Now, it's obviously not the Penguins' year this year. Feels like it might be you guys' year, though. You know, you talk about that Ovi chase in the entire year. It's been a lot of eyes on the Capitals. You're the underdogs going into play against the Caniacs, brother. How do you feel about the matchup, and how do you feel about the team this year? You've won a Stanley Cup before. How does the team feel this year? Feels like you're big and fast, which is what you have to be.
Yeah, we're big and fast. We have a really tight group. I know everybody kind of always says that, but if you look back to training camp, we had that feeling kind of right away. We obviously had the core and the culture from the last 10 years or so, but there's some new pieces that have really complemented us well, and they're great guys, they're characters. Our room is just an absolute clown show on most days. It's a lot of fun. Guys that are, keep you on your toes. No one's safe. They're all over me. It just makes it really fun to come to the rink. And I think when the game gets tough, you really see that. You see the ability to depend on each other and the expectation that the guy next to you is going to be right by your side. And I think that's what makes us dangerous this year, is just a really solid foundation and a solid group.
A good group of lads over there in Washington. Holy smokes, you said earlier. The Canadian accent is so phenomenal, and it sounds like you have a locker room filled with people that are like most Canadians that I know. Dogs, good vibes, great lines, great accents. On that note, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Tom, I think everyone who loves hockey obviously was jacked for the Four Nations, but even, like casual fans really got involved in that. I saw a lot of Canadians were pissed off that you kind of got snubbed from the team. Does something like that kind of add a chip to your shoulder? Like, do you need that at all? And also, like, are you eyeing the next time they're doing this and be like, yeah, next time, we have a Four Nations Cup, like, I'm going to be on that roster?
When the Kachuk boys drop the gloves 9 seconds in, I would like to be on the ice for our country. Do you have that thought?
Yeah, I was, as the team got selected and stuff, obviously you're a little pissed off and you want to be there. And then, I was sitting on my couch and I turned on the game, and as that stuff was all going down, I was sitting there like, holy, I want to be out there so bad. You just kind of, your blood started boiling a little bit, and it's an amazing rivalry and just the game at its greatest. And, as a competitor, you want to be out there, competing with your country, and you always want to put that jersey on and go out there best on best. So, if it happens in the future, I'll be stoked. Obviously, it was great for the game of hockey. Everybody saw what a savage sport it is, and great skill, speed, and toughness on display. So it was awesome.
Yeah, crushed the All-Star game. I mean, it was just absolutely crushed. All NBA All-Star game happened, and then that happened, and it felt like the entire country got around. It felt like it was an Olympics. It felt like it was a massive ordeal. I think I got a pretty good proposal for you. I think I got a pretty good one. They don't want you on a Canadian team. They said it.
Yeah,
they did. Didn't they?
They said it.
He'll be there at the Olympics.
You live right there in D.C., brother.
He'll be on the Olympic squad for Canada.
Play for America.
Trouble.
Don't do it, Tom. Don't do it, Tom.
USA. We need you.
Yeah.
We need you.
Come on.
We would love to have a Tom Wilson on the bench in the change room, lad. I just want to let you know that. And we'd certainly make it comfortable. Any Canadian stuff you need, even if it's that sweet cream-oo or smooth cream-oo.
A couple Molsons.
Yeah, the Tiger Tail or something.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah, King Timmy Hortons double-doubles all day, brother. Whatever you need.
No comment. I got to stick to my roots. I grew up playing there, and hey, Tim Hortons is pretty good. You got to give it a try.
Hey, the double is a game changer. It really is. Hey, we appreciate the hell out of you. Good luck the rest of the way. Happy to see you got that little baby Lorda over your shoulder. Good luck on your chase to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Wilson, thank you, buddy.
Tommy.
Such a beauty. Such a beauty.
He is beaut.
Nobody.
What a beaut.
I do wonder if they actually wondered why I called him a son of a bitch. What if everybody's just super nice to him, even though everybody hates him on every other team?
Tom, he hates you.
Tom, really? What'd you do to him? All right, hour two on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.
We have an opportunity to give away $75,000 to a kid named Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Damn, Daniel! We don't need that! You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of the shoes?
What time?
A shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
You need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We gotta do
one more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Hell yeah!
Great job.
Damn, Daniel! Damn, Daniel! All right.
What just happened? Are you kidding me? It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there. I know.
$600,000 to hurricane relief. $100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this It's May, Thursday, May 1st, 2025, hour 2 of the program starts now. Sports are happening all around us, and we're so incredibly lucky that we get to talk about it every single day. As you saw in the intro, the wrestling ring has returned to the office. It lived with us downtown. It moved into my barn at a property I have out here in Indiana. Love Indiana, by the way. Never in my life would have thought I had a barn.
Yeah.
You know?
Sweet.
Had a shed growing up. It was up this steep-ass hill. It was a good shed. Tim McAfee built it, as you've seen with the gazebo.
Yeah, right.
It was good. Tight shed, though. Sheds always get packed to the gills. Always. Because if you have anything, put it in a shed. Put it in a shed. Well, inevitably, everything's going to be in a shed from the last 10 years, and you're going to have no room. Then you got to rely on your dad, who's like a Tetris player, because he was a professional mover in the back of a thing, to start stacking things. So if you need to get anything out of there, you got to remember how to un-Tetris this. I'm doing a Rubik's Cube to get anything out of the shed. Tight space, but nice to have. Then you come out here, and there's just barns everywhere. Barn is a hell of a play.
Yeah.
I mean, barn is a hell of a play. Obviously, costs money, but just what a nice piece of life. Literally everything goes into people's barns. In my case, professional wrestling, couple ATVs, got a dirt bike or two.
Aquatic machine.
Aquatic vehicle. Sure. It's good on land and sea.
Bought that from my neighbor's front yard, obviously, whenever I moved out here to Indianapolis. Actually had a neighbor that understood the type of neighbor that he had, which was me, a guy brand new with money and not a lot of discipline. So that guy's front yard became like a store of cool things. I bought numerous things out of that guy's front yard. Aquatic vehicle. He might as well have just said, hey, Pat, before you go home, if you want to pay $2,600, this thing is good on ground and in that pond that you have behind your house. And it turns out we didn't properly use it. We didn't plug the proper hole. That thing was good on ground, and then if it is plugged, it's good. And we took that thing to the bottom of the pond.
Yeah, as you should.
But that thing was pulled out of the pond by a crane. It was a big day, celebration. That thing's in the barn. It's sitting next to this wrestling ring for the last few years. Now we bring it into the Thunderdome because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And the boys pieced this thing together. It was a hell of a team effort. And it's incredibly difficult to do because just like, the shed that I was talking about being a Rubik's Cube, so are these wrestling rings for the ropes because you got 4 posts, obviously, and they all got to be connected. Then you got a bunch of boards. And then underneath, you got to be able to keep those taut. So watching and learning how to kind of piece together a wrestling ring, cool. This is a part of the process that I missed in the development of becoming a wrestler or in the wrestling world because I was kicking balls for a living at the time. So I do try to earn my stripes in certain ways. This ring thing is a wild thing to have in the office, though. It's impossible not to look at it and go, you know what, I might as well go jump off that thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you got people pounding the mat, a lot of pounding the mat.
Oh, yeah. Have to. Running the ropes.
A couple people running the ropes going, whoa, whoa, whoa. That ain't
as soft as I thought.
I thought that was like a rubber.
Yeah,
that's
like
actual
rubber
rope.
band.
That's actual rope. That hurts a little bit. It's hard not to do that. It's a nice, it's a nice talking point, but it's also a great place to kind of prepare the body a little bit.
Yeah.
What do we need to do to beat Gunther? He's big, he's strong, he's good.
Yeah.
He's former world champ 2 or 3 weeks.
That's right.
Best in the world, they said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, okay, yeah.
So what?
Now what?
Well, he barked.
Let's go get it, shouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go get this thing. I don't know if he feels that way. He bullies around Michael Cole, 60 years old, Michael Cole.
Not right.
Can't do that. Greatest of all time. Think about how many just life events that Michael Cole sacrificed so that he could be in the WWE and the WWF, so that the WWE can be where it is today, so professional wrestling can be where it is today. The amount of commitment that this man has given to professional wrestling, which is the thing that Gunther says he loves more than anybody. And what his supporters on the internet say, they love wrestling more than anybody. We love pure wrestling, everything, all this stuff. Michael Cole has sacrificed 28 years of his life. He's missed 3 shows for the good of professional wrestling, loves professional wrestling. And Gunther's going to just bully a goat? I don't think so. Can't have it. We love Michael Cole.
Yeah, and he went down like a sack of potatoes.
Who's that?
Cole.
Yeah, he's 60 years old.
Yeah,
he was a war journalist. Yeah, you think he's ready to get snatched up by an Austrian who's a world champ who's tall, strong, and intimidating?
Got the glasses smacked off his face, too. He couldn't see anything. I hope Gunther cut him a check for a new pair of glasses. Those aren't cheap.
Yeah, not cheap at all. Those things go flying.
Gone.
See ya.
And he's trying to calm him down, too.
Listen, Michael Cole, you're an adult. I'm sitting over there. That's what I'm thinking to myself. Okay, all right, getting a little tight here, huh? Don't you think? Oh, I had to break up a fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre at the kickoff, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing a little boxing out. Hey, come on, boys. Let's have a good time here. Just trying to do the same thing. And then he attacks Michael Cole. I don't think so, bud. Push me over.
Were you and Cole speaking German there? Was there something lost in translation? Or
no, see, that has become a problem with this commentating. I don't understand any other languages.
Yeah. Oh,
I am an idiot.
I did see that.
I am an idiot. But sometimes there's moments that I think are calling for a give and take situation. Mm-hmm. And that's a one-way street.
Sure.
Yeah.
It would be cool to be able to understand Spanish and German at some of these wrestling. Because especially in the Spanish department, we have a lot of Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
And I want to let you know, they're all good. Every one of them is great at WWE, and I think they'll be around a long time. And I wish I could. I try every week. Penta. Cool thing to say in Spanish. Cool thing to say whenever, something sweet happens. He tells me, my man, do a little poomp, kind of, I walk out of the room.
Yep.
20 minutes later, that thing's gone.
Yeah.
That thing's gone. Then I'll write it down sometimes, but I don't phonetically write it out. Yeah. And I don't want to disrespect. So if I say it wrong, it's almost more disrespect.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So I'm getting Rosetta Stone, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going to try to learn Spanish. I'm going to try to do this thing. I'm also going to try to learn about Sprechen Sie Deutsch. You know,
Sure.
Guten Tag, ein gross Bier bitte. That's about as far as I got. I need to get a little far. Nein means no. So we're going to go for it. But anyways, I got to stick up for Michael Cole at Backlash and also for society. Can't be doing that. Can't just be walking around, smacking around journalists for no reason. They're allowed to have opinions. Talks tables here at Boss Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone is here. Sweet chains today,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good paisan horn there.
Yeah.
Do those tangle?
All the time. I sleep with them. I haven't taken these off in like a year. So yeah, at night sometimes you wake up not breathing.
Yeah, I used to be a multiple chain wearer, and I just realized that they're always going to want to dance with each other, like two snakes fighting too. And you think it'd be easy to get them undone. They're not. No. Not at all. You look cool though.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You ever see the guys have 9 or 10 of those things stacked?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's one of the producers of Hammer, Dahn,
The producer.
Bruce Brown. You've seen the 9 stack.
Yeah, on Gumpy, right? He runs them
Gumpy
up.
had 6 at one point.
I used to have those big ones. Yeah, I just got the skinny gold ones now.
We need the Cuban chain,
Those
Cuban
were-
links
Bring it
back.
back. I did see that clip. There were like 5 of them.
I was wearing it as
Dick's
well.
out
Those
right
things
now.
were big.
He's wearing at least 6 right now under the shirt.
These ones, they don't tangle, and if they do, they come undone very easily. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's just, I haven't been a necklace wearer my whole life, but then you start wearing tank tops a lot, then it's like, okay, probably got to add at least something. You got to accessorize
Spice
a
it
tank
up.
top at least a little bit. So then I got in the chain game, and then once they start twisting up, it's an interesting time. Joining us now is a guy, I don't think he's ever worn it.
No. He has 0 jewelry.
Has his ears pierced, though. Mm-hmm. Up on the top, too.
Yeah. Yep. He gauges them too.
Yeah, he's got
that other piercing too.
bottom, bingo,
Whatever it's
belly
called.
button, and then he's got the.
What's it called, King
This
Albert?
one,
or-
ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner, AJ Hawk. Thank you for doing that.
Yep. It's called the Prince Albert, and I do not have anything pierced through my urethra, as it does. So,
Okay.
no piercings for me.
I'm happy to hear that. I am happy to hear that. Did you?
What if I did? Would you be unhappy if I did have that?
I don't.
You look at me differently?
No, I would just. Yeah. No, I would. That would be. I think it would have been expected.
You'd be the second person we know that has it.
If you would.
DJ Pauly D.
Hey, Cush.
Okay. See,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
all right.
Yeah.
That's an aggressive decision whenever you make it.
Certainly.
I don't know. No way.
It can't be your first piercing. You have to get many other piercings before you say, "Hey, let's go. Let's go through the meat."
You never know.
You ever see the people? They like just.
Yeah.
They pierce like just parts of their skin.
Yeah.
How about the cheek? Have you seen that
Yeah,
one?
the stud up here. I think that's cool.
Yeah, but how bad would that hurt if something?
They're just taking like a staple gun to your cheek.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I had my ears pierced. I had studs. Went to Claire's, did the whole thing. Getting it pierced, that was a scene. I did not enjoy it at all. Puncturing a hole in it.
Yeah.
How about the people that had the full,
The gauges?
Yeah.
the big gaugers? Yeah,
Those
that
people, they go. Those people.
Yeah, they got sweet tats. Normally.
They're not afraid.
They normally got really sweet tats. And I'm like, I have no idea how you have the courage to do that. Anyways, speaking of courage, let's play hockey with Tom Wilson. Did you hear him? What a legend. What a beauty, obviously, they say. And I think hockey is having a great playoffs right now. And if this Capitals team is able to go on a run, talking about the documentary you could tell about this team, think about the reunions 10 years from now for this team. Now, a lot of it would be revolving around Ovechkin breaking the record, but if a team was able to go on and win the Stanley Cup in that same exact year, you're talking about most historic team in the history. Most historic team in the history. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of the NHL. I mean, that's real motivation, I think, for them. Underdogs against the Hurricanes in the next round. I think there's a lot of stories that can be happening in this NHL playoffs, and I love them. I love most of them.
I do. So Tom Wilson, I don't know hockey as well as some other people do. Is there who would be the closest player to like a Tom Wilson style on another team? Is there anybody like him in the league right now?
I mean, I was going to say incognito just because that's like a person who was...
Because he does it all, though. I mean, he's like the most feared, intimidating guy, but he also is a hockey player.
Second leading scorer on the Capitals.
Wild.
He's more skilled, but like back in the day, and maybe Nick, you could agree, like a Pat Maroon when Pat was with like Tampa, when Pat Maroon was also, or even St. Louis before he went to Tampa, where Pat Maroon was scoring goals and throwing the ball.
Yeah, to be honest, guys, Tommy is kind of like a unicorn. He's just so skilled, and he didn't start out in the league that way. He obviously had some skill, and he flashed it. He had a couple goals. He'd score a timely goal here or there, but he's just grown into a pure goal scorer. He had 11 power play goals this year. I was just looking. They moved him from the front of the net spot where guys just typically stand there, battle, try and take up space in the screen, and tip pucks in and battle, to a bumper slot when TJ Oshie retired. That means you drop out into the slot, they feed you one-timers, rebounds. He's got 11 goals this year, career high on the power play, 33, I think, in total on the season, and he's got 2 so far in the playoffs. So he's turned into like a pure like first-line winger, and he's the power forward that just doesn't really exist in the NHL anymore. In the early 90s, you'd see a ton of guys like this, Kevin Stevens, Rick Tocchet type of guys. They just don't exist anymore.
I was kind of piecing it together. You know, you don't really see the goon. I mentioned the goon position there. That's also like the protector position it used to be for the superstars, okay? Superstars. Wayno had goons, okay, that would be on his team, and they were there so that people didn't abuse Wayne Gretzky. That has been something that hockey has had for a long time. I think it's like a part of the culture almost. It's like a position, like, hey, fighting guys about to come out, or big hit guys about to come out, or something like that was like a part of it. They kind of phased that whole thing out. I think Tom Wilson, to your point about whenever he was drafted 13 years ago, 12 seasons ago, I think he was probably brought in to be a hitter, like, let's third line this thing. Let's go ahead and do what we got to do. But if you're the protector of the greatest goal scorer of all time, I assume there's going to be some things you pick up, from watching Ovi, like at some point. And it's like, I wonder if there was like a decision made, like, I don't have to just be this guy. I can also watch the greatest goal scorer in the history of the game every single day. And maybe I become something. It's like, 30 plus goals, 200 hits, only player in the NHL. It's like, and he has that in him still. So it's like, what a perfect guy for the Capitals. He should be playing for America.
That'd be cool.
If they don't, Gumpy, if you guys don't want him, he should be playing for the United States of America.
I 100% guarantee he will be on that Olympic squad.
I don't know.
Which one? You're talking about America?
Canada, 100%.
I don't know.
I will wager anything with anybody.
If he gets left off, there should be a rule that he can play for America if they leave him off the Canadian team.
Agreed. I think that should be in all sports, even if the player opts out from playing for that country. Lou Messi lost last night?
There's some issues with that Inter Miami squad right now, boys. It's not good. Machinero, who's never really coached before, people are not happy with his coaching style. They've sold a bunch of players. They got shit kicked 3-1 by the Whitecaps last night. Lost 5-1 on aggregate. It is... it's not good.
AJ,
that's 2 tournaments they're out of now.
AJ, you were talking about these tournaments. They're the biggest one till the next one. So this one's the most recent one, and this is tough.
Yeah, 5-1 in aggregate. We all know what that means. And next week when the next biggest tournament comes on, we'll see what happens, I guess.
They need to hire the new guy, Ponto.
No,
he stinks.
What's going on with the coaching? He has Lou Messi on the field.
Yeah, Machinero.
Machinero used to play with all these guys at Barcelona. So he came over, now he's coaching.
Is that the cherry guy?
It's not really going well.
It's Maraschino.
Is this his first time coaching?
Kind of. He coached like an academy, sort of.
What's he doing? Is he not playing Messi? Like, that's the only mistake he can make.
Well, they actually sat all their players on the weekend in the MLS to really go for this game. And then they ended up losing both games.
He should be like Will Ferrell in
Kicking and
Screaming. Get the ball to the Italians. Just give it to Messi.
Yeah, that's a great soccer movie, Will Ferrell.
It was a sad day. Cristiano Ronaldo got knocked out of a tournament.
What? A tournament? Which one? The Super Duper
It
Cup?
was the Saudi Cup. Messi got knocked out, and LeBron James got knocked out of the NBA playoffs.
The game is gone.
The old firm. It was a tough day for the old firm.
Yamal had a good day, though.
Yamal, the new firm. Dude. Unbelievable.
He is.
There's you know this guy. You know this guy. 17-year-old guy from Spain. Remember him? He played in the last big tournament that we were watching.
I've seen clips, yeah. I saw some clips of this guy. He looks good.
So he's already got 100 caps, I guess, for Barcelona. And he's only getting more electrifying, seemingly, every single game. Do we have the clip from, I don't even know if we're allowed to play it. Probably not even allowed to play it.
No.
Is he coming to the Timbers next year?
Yeah, how are we getting him to the MLS?
Whitecaps are trying to get him as we speak.
They're a good team. 5-1 they had over Lou Messi.
Exactly, in aggregate, yeah. So
what happened? To AJ's point, I played soccer growing up. I understand there is strategy and everything like that. A Messi team probably has its strategy figured out, right? Like, that's not big changes from one coach to the next coach.
Get it to Lou.
Not only that, I think he's kind of directing traffic. Like, It's all kind of. It was in when what's his name, Alba, the other guy.
Jordi Alba scored last night. Yeah, Suarez hasn't scored in a while. It's tough. It was tough
They
watching
can't
it
manage
last
all the
night.
egos. Is that what's going on right now?
No, they've just brought in a bunch of new players, and the guys that were there that were good, they got rid of. But they were actually really good, been good in the MLS for a while. But they're not.
Full turnover they're doing.
Yeah, like they're not. They're bringing in all Argentinian guys,
so
all
Lou-
Spain players. Yeah,
Lou ruined the team. It sounds like.
No, they're kind of just building their squad, and it's not going as planned.
Sounds like a lot of these new guys aren't used to the lightning fast pace of play in the MLS.
That does. That does sound like that.
Berhalter's kid plays for the Whitecaps. He scored again last night. He is unbelievable. He's very good. Yeah,
Greg.
He's so good, dude. Legit.
You never believed Greg could have had
I mean, no wonder we weren't winning. Guy's a dad.
Yeah, well, okay.
Weren't we starting that kid like when we shouldn't have been?
No, it was.
He was on Team USA.
That was
Gio.
Reyna.
Yeah.
That was Gio Reyna.
And he
Well, we
should have
weren't
been-
playing Gio
Yeah, he
Reyna.
should have been
Yeah.
starting.
But I'm sure we were giving caps to Berhalter's
What's
kid.
going on with U.S. soccer, Gumps? Are we going to win this thing or not? And it sounds like maybe we don't want Lou Messi on our team with everything that's going on. AJ, what do you think we need to do to get back to win the World Cup? It's on our land coming up.
It is on our soil.
It's on our
Home
land.
soil.
Well,
I mean,
It's not.
before this, though,
where I'm from.
Well, this
where I
land
was
is your
born.
land. This land is our land.
North
This
America,
land
correct?
was made for soccer and me. Anyways, we need to win a World Cup.
I mean, to Ty's point, though, are these foreign players not able to keep up with the pace of the MLS? Like, this has like been flying under the radar. People don't get it. They get in the MLS and they're like, oh my goodness, this is like 4 times faster than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So on film, it looks slow and bad, but once you get on the pitch, it's just a whole different ballgame.
Physical.
Is that what it is, Gump? They can't handle the Whitecaps?
Yeah.
Is that
The game wasn't close last night. Like the score almost flatters Inter Miami. Like they got shit kicked.
So you're telling me that the MLS isn't some amateur bush? So we should win we should win the World Cup then.
We should.
we should. Except all these guys are coming over from Argentina now because they've gotten word like, hey, you blink and the ball's fucking gone in the MLS.
Messi's bodyguard gone too? Maybe,
Yep.
maybe he's not playing as loose and safe.
Well, sounds like
maybe he's
Lou-
staying in the middle of the field, you know?
Could be.
Staying away from everything. He's a little scared to go to the outside. Whatever the case, congrats to soccer. It's happening. And whenever the next tournament happens, we want to win it.
It's tomorrow.
What's that?
Huge one starts tomorrow.
Gold Cup this summer. You got to have a good showing at that before the World Cup. Gold Cup is one that.
We win the Gold Cup, right?
Yes, you guys should.
I don't know. Ponch couldn't coach a fucking dog to sit down, so I don't know how we're going to win that one.
What do you mean? You saw that?
There is some rumblings. There is some rumblings. There is some old U.S. players are saying that he doesn't care about the team enough.
Ponch?
What are you talking about? Old
Yeah.
U.S. team members. Is this coming from CONCAFA?
No, this
Alexi
isn't from
Lawless?
CONCAFA. It isn't Lawless, but it is kind of the same squad.
Donovan open his mouth.
They're saying he doesn't care enough about the team.
He's not American. Why would he care?
Well, it's kind of how all international teams are. They're all coached
Bradley?
by guys who aren't from the country anymore.
That makes no sense. I would like our country to represent, and hopefully we'll win on this land.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
On our land.
We just crushed soccer.
We did such good soccer talk. And for more of that, listen to the CONCAFA pod with people that actually know about soccer. Gumpy, Breck Shea, Jeff Cameron. Great show out of you lads. Really good stuff.
New one just came out on Tuesday morning.
Okay,
And
joining
Liverpool won.
Liverpool,
Liverpool,
congrats.
yeah.
You never
Greatest
walk
team
alone.
in England. Thank you.
How would they fare in the MLS?
They'd be so fucked.
Yeah.
Drowning.
Sounds like they couldn't
fourth
handle
or
the
fifth.
speed.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Nasty.
joining us now, not from the world of soccer, but from the world of professional football, our general manager conversation week continues with friend of the program, general manager for the Los Angeles Chargers, Joe Hortiz. How you doing, boss?
Doing great, Pat. How you doing, man?
Hey, great. How is life post-draft? Does it feel like one chapter of the NFL calendar is over and you can move forward, or is there a celebration? What is the feeling as draft kind of ends for you guys?
Yeah, there's excitement, celebration. Obviously, you hit as soon as the draft ends, you hit post-draft free agency, and then that night is really just kind of a letdown, really, because it's all done. It's you go through a little bit of depression, honestly, because you just so much excitement, so much build up, and then all of a sudden it's done, and what next? But we're excited. You got the rookies coming in a couple weeks, and that's when you get to kind of unwrap your Christmas presents. And, looking forward to that.
I love that you are so invested in all these guys because you've been literally studying everything about them for the last 3-4 months. And then when draft day comes, it's like, all right, never going to think about this guy until he's either a free agent again. Now you got to figure out how you kind of bring your guys in. Let's talk about the guys that you brought in. You had a running back in the first round there. Okay, hardball football. I think you even did it with us. Last year, first pick of the Harbaugh Hortiz era is, yep, there it is. Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
We go with an offensive lineman. We're going to protect Herbert, and we're going to be a tough football team. Now, you get a running back. Was that always going to be the idea, or how do we land on Amarion?
Yeah, no, we stack our players, 1 through 200, really. And we go in that order. And, when we got up on the clock, he was the guy, and he was one of those players that we had up there high that, hey, we really don't want to trade away from him unless we get blown away. And, just really a special player. If you guys see the clips here, physical, talented runner, very good speed. A guy, honestly, who I noticed last year when I was looking at Drake May, he just jumped off the film then, and he wasn't even draft eligible. So, stacked another great year on top of his 2023 season, and really just excited to have him in. But I think he can do a lot of great things for us.
And by the looks of him, I mean, he's gigantic. That's, 2 year. 2 years.
That's the beauty of photography. Whoever captured that picture, whoever took that, I don't know if Ty took that or Mia, but whoever took that picture, that's a great photographer there to really, make him as big as he is. Actually not taller than Coach.
Oh, okay.
What?
Taller, big. Oh,
there you go.
Different angle here.
But he's put together. You can see it.
Charger social media team and digital team is awesome.
Top notch.
I believe that's who you just shouted out there. They were incredibly kind to us. Let's talk about what you did in the offseason leading into the draft. What was the mindset post-season? Obviously, only one team is going to be the Super Bowl champion. What was the mindset? And from the last time we talked to you at the Combine, how has the strategy gone for how you addressed everything?
Yeah, I think when you finish the season, what I did is I took every player that was a free agent, an impending free agent on our roster, and I took them off our depth chart and just put them in a stack, and kind of shows you how much we had to get done. And our goal was to build, add, try to retain as many guys as we could, add some quality players, and then just rebuild the depth and have a good deep team. So when we're head into the draft, we truly could take best player available. You weren't forcing needs up the board, and love the way the draft fell for us. Loved what we did before the draft. Keeping guys like Khalil, getting Elijah done, and then adding guys like McKay and the D linemen we added, Deshaun Hand, Naquan Bowers, and the list goes on and on. Bringing Mike Williams back, and just being able to really fill in a lot of spots, and then hitting the draft and attacking the draft with best player available, and it felt great for us.
Yeah, I think your fans were also pumped about everything that you did. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, do you pay attention at all, Joe, to people that kind of grade your post-draft, how it went? I know online you guys are getting a lot of good pub, which I'm sure either way it probably doesn't matter. I guess it's better they're saying good things than bad. But people, seems like the majority of all these pundits think you did a very good job in filling out your roster here with the draft.
Yeah, we internally we were very excited, and scouts, ownership, coaching, and that's really the grade that matters to me when it comes to draft day. Really, you can't really grade a draft until they get out there on the field and play a year or two, and so certainly people would grade the drafts based on they attacked their needs or they got value here, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get value with every pick, certainly, and we feel like we did that with a lot of players. But I think the draft grades itself, and it grades itself in the next 2 to 3 years.
I don't think you know shit. We got to give a draft grade the day afterwards. This was a D+ draft for this team. And what if they have 5 Pro Bowlers or All Pros? All these guys could be every one of these guys could be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, you know what? I missed my oldest son's senior day. It was draft week. It was on Friday of the draft, and he wrote me Joey is his name, and he wrote me. He gave me a game ball, and actually got me. I don't want to talk too much about it. I might get choked up, but he did say, "I wish you were here, but since you can't be, go draft a Hall of Famer." So hopefully we got one in there.
Hell yeah! Hey, let's go.
Better.
And you being a dad that gets choked up talking about your kid isn't a bad thing. You can do that whenever the hell you want. Now, let's talk about a move you made before the draft. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Joe, before I ask this question, I'd like to just kind of jog your memory of something that you and Coach Harbaugh talked about at the Combine. Foxy, I think we have the clip if you could run it.
You know a guy that's known? Khalil Mack. What are you going to do?
Come on, Joe.
Let's go.
Khalil knows how I feel about him, and we'd love to have him back, and we're going to work towards that. You know, we had good conversations right after the season.
Pay the man, Joe. Pay the man. Let's get it back.
He's a Silver Bells king, right?
So, Joe, after seeing that, we obviously see, Coach Harbaugh put those big mitts on you right away when we started talking about it. Was there any consideration that this might go a different way, or were you thinking like, hey, if I don't sign Khalil Mack, there's a good chance that Coach Harbaugh is going to beat the shit out of me, so I probably need to address that first and foremost?
Yeah, no, it's funny because Khalil he was our in the end of the season. I'm like, we got to get Khalil back, and I wanted him back. Heck, before the season even began. I love Khalil. I mean, just a tremendous talent, but an even better person and leader and teammate, and just awesome to be around. So he was priority number one. And it was funny though, after we got done that session with you guys, I'm doing agent meetings with Ed McGuire and Katie Sylvan and John Spanos, and I walked in and I'm like, "Hey, Ed, you're screwed, man. Coach just put it out there that we got to pay Khalil." So his agent's got leverage now. So it was great.
I like a little public leverage loss for you guys and for Khalil on the program. Good for business. Feels like you got a good deal done personally.
Oh yeah.
Just from looking at it, it felt like it was a good deal. I think we all thought, okay, $18 million fully guaranteed for Khalil. He gets to stay in a place that loves him from the way you're speaking of him. And we saw that Silver Bells, club down in the weight room. And Khalil was, I forget what the number was. It was
250.
Yeah, 2+.
What was, I don't know what it is. Anyways, it's a silver old school dumbbell bench, I believe. And you got to use it. And you got to hit a certain mark. And then you get to the Silver Bells Club. And then your name's up on the wall. And they have it roped off like it's a VIP section in the weight room. And their coach, strength coach,
Herbert.
Herb, yeah. Legend. Energy brings the juice in there. Feels like your guys' culture is, and we just got a chance to walk around and see it. Do you feel like you added to the culture this season? Like, what do you think your culture got better at this season? Do you think it's just gotten cemented more in? And how do you feel about where you guys are in the build of this Chargers team?
Yeah, I think just one on the culture, I think Coach talked about it, at the end of the year, and he talked about during the year to the players. He took the culture that already existed. The culture was here, and he's like a catalyst for it. Like he's the match to the fuel, the flame, that's what Coach is. And that's what Ben Herbert is. And, but these guys, the culture existed, and you got a bunch of guys here that love football, and that's what we tried to add. And we added more players that love football, and they're going to work hard and have fun playing it. And we're going to work hard. We're going to have fun. That's what Ben Herbert's all about. And the cool thing is we got Khalil done. And I called him up to congratulate him at probably 11:30 his time. He was still in Florida, and he answered the phone. He was so fired up, and the first thing out of his mouth is like, "I can't wait to get back with Herb. I can't wait to get back there and get with Herb." So like that just tells you like the impact Herb has on these players, and they love him, and I love him, and I've known him since he was the head strength coach at Wisconsin, and but what we're about is just working hard and having fun and winning, and.
That's got to be the biggest compliment that you could ever pay a strength coach right there. Herb, I hope you took that in there, brother. And I don't know if he's heard that story before or if you told him that he said that, because he deserves to obviously hear that. Herb was a legend. We were with him for an hour down there. And it was like, I was like, man, maybe I can. No, you guys got a great punter, but maybe I can swing for a year out here. This feels like, with the view, their gym is like Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's awesome.
It's indoor, outdoor. It's the facility.
Top notch.
So nice. Everything you could possibly want there. And it's like, Angel working her ass off in there. Feels like everybody has the right. It's like the food. I mean, the food.
Pizza. New soft serve every day.
Everything about it is like, so if I work here, this is what I do every day.
Yeah.
So I would come.
This is what Dean built for us, man. It's awesome. It's unbelievable. And And just everything about it, like that, what you're seeing there, if you saw it from the opposite view at 7 a.m. in the morning, the sun is rising right there on the backside of the fields, and it's like just shining in on you at 7 a.m. I come walking in, the players are all lifting. I mean, how do you not want to be here? It's unbelievable.
Good for you guys, dude. Hey, that's not easy at all, especially, to find an owner that'll spend that money. Now, let's talk about the players that you draft. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Joe, as you're ranking players 1 to 200, you mentioned, during this combine, what are some of the things off the field that you kind of look for? We've had a bunch of GMs on this week. We saved you for last, obviously, because best for last. But, something that Jason Light talked about was, I think they called it like, I am that dude.
I am that man.
I am that man. Yeah, there it is. And, it kind of just goes into them loving football. And they talked other things about, like, kind of the psychology of having them in the facility all day and how that can be kind of, strenuous throughout the day. And they become long days. But by the end of it, if they're still very engaged and still want to have those conversations at football, they know that they really do love it. But what are some of those things that you guys do to kind of try and figure out if the players you're drafting really do love the sport?
Yeah, and this is, I brought this over from Baltimore. We did it in Baltimore, and it's funny because I actually, Jason was one of the guys I saw on here, and just listening to him talk, it's very similar. You want guys that love football first and foremost, and that love their team and are committed to their team. But, we break down character like we break down a position, and, what do we look for? We look for guys that have that Charger mentality and work ethic and, strong team players and resiliency, mental toughness. We grade all those things independently. And, when you do that, you kind of get an idea, okay, this is the hole in the play. When you grade it by position specific, okay, this is the hole in his game. If it's a linebacker, if it's a wideout, this is what he's got to get better at. Same thing, in terms of his makeup. This is where he may be weak, where we're going to have to pour in some resources. And, what you try to get is obviously like from the playing aspect, you want guys that are all, high scores in their position specifics and critical factors as a player. We want guys with high scores in their makeup, and we shoot to get as many of those as possible.
Asking questions to people around them. Is there anything you notice on when you meet them? Is there and I don't want to give away. No, we should give away some game here, because Jason Light said a guy put on a shiesty, a mask and say he didn't want to talk anymore. And then obviously there's been other stories of these types of situations that happen. Are there things that take place that you notice? Because I don't think everybody fully understands the scouting. Also judgment, the scouting that goes on whenever you're trying to figure out this multi-million, maybe potential billion-dollar changing person to come into your facility. It's a lot, right? And how people act some of the time is how they act all the time. Do you watch for any of that stuff, and how do you kind of keep up on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Our scouts do a great job. We got a great group of guys that go out to these schools and talk to the staffs and watch them at practice. And are they first in line? Or are they last in line? Is their effort strong in practice, or are they just going through the motions? Obviously, we want the competitors, the guys that go out and compete in practice, the guys who are at the front of the line, the guys that are leading. And but there's so many stories over the years. And then when you interview them, it's a chance to get them to open up. And we watch a lot of film with them. You get an idea of how much preparation they've done for their interviews, but also how familiar they are with what they were doing in college, the way we run the interviews. But you fire questions at them during the course of the interview and see how they respond, and you just take notes and you get that. I've never seen a guy with a shiesty on who said he didn't want to talk, but me personally, it wouldn't go well. I was like, okay, we might want to push this guy off to the side, but we want guys to engage, and show that passion. We want it to come out when we're interviewing them.
It sounds like with the research you're doing, you're going to find it somewhere, like at a practice. Yeah. Could be a Wednesday, middle of the season in college. Scouts there.
You talk to staffs. You don't just talk to the head coach or the coordinators or the pro liaison. You're talking to GAs. You're talking to assistants around the building. Our scouts. They go into these schools year after year, multiple times a year, and they really build relationships with people that they can trust. And me personally, the schools I've gone to in the past, I've always got someone where I can go pull them to the side and say, hey, tell me the truth about this guy. Tell me what you got. And and we've built that relationship up where they know they can say it to me, and I'll keep it in house, and I'll keep it to myself, but I'll use it to help make get the guy in the right spot.
Yeah, and people forget, they say it's a business for real, and the business is both ways. And you want to do business with people that do business the way you like to do business. So trying to find out who your partners are is a deep investigation. I mean, think about all the study and research, and that's what you're talking about whenever it's all over. It's like, man, that was so much commitment to these people. I learned if this guy wanted to be third in line on a Thursday in a hitting drill midway through the season on this guy, and then he goes to a different team. Is there a disappointment? Like, there are guys personally that you would like to have seen and obviously you're happy with your draft class, but there are guys, I assume, post-draft, let's say you guys are having a beer, hanging out afterwards, and be like, would have been nice if blank would have got to blank. Like, is that happen every year?
Yeah, I think that's every draft. People are like, oh, how do you feel when a player you're sitting on and gets taken right before you? Well, I've been there in the past, and a player, we're going to take him, he gets picked. You know what? I've seen it happen, and I've seen the guy be a Hall of Famer. The guy who we picked. So, you just gotta trust your process, trust the board. There's if a player's taken right before you or taken 10 picks before you, it's a player that you wanted. He was higher in the stack. So, the player's getting picked before you get a chance to pick them all the time. So, whether it's right before or 20 picks before, it doesn't matter. You would have taken that guy if he were there, but he's not there. So you just trust your staff, trust your process, and pick the best player available.
No regrets, brother. Yeah, we're coming out of the draft completely happy with what we did in there. That is, we played the draft exactly how we were supposed to play the draft. That's awesome. Good for you. Congrats on the successful draft.
Yeah.
Hey, Hall of Famer in there for the boy.
That's right.
Hall of Famer in there for the boy. One of the picks, Tony wants to talk about.
Yeah, Joe, last year's draft, you got a stud for Justin Herbert in the second round and Lad McConkey at the wide receiver position. And then this year you go Trey Harris in the second round, also wide receiver, who I believe it was 130 yards per game, which was number one in college football last season. Yeah. Were you surprised that he was there in the second when you guys were on the board or on the clock?
We definitely had him up there in our stack, and he's one of the guys that we're very excited that fell to us at 55. Was I surprised? I think you pay attention to you do have to pay attention to what as you get closer to the draft, what outsiders are saying. And did I think there was a chance he would be there? Yeah, I did. Was I excited that he was there? Absolutely. He's a talented player who was before he got hurt. He was leading the country in receiving and just a big physical playmaker, ability to win at all three levels. And you see him there. Those are the things we saw, and we're just excited about the opportunity to add him. It's one of those guys you're a little anxious. Is he going to get there? Is he going to get there? He's going to get there, and you trust it. You trust the process. You trust the research. You trust the work, and he was there, and we were fired up to turn his name in.
You knew there was going to be a lot of trenches drafted early. Did you expect that?
Yeah, I think the D-line group was really strong this year in the draft, and I think teams are always going to look to add offensive linemen and certainly tackles, and so you expect the tackles to go just like they have the past 5 years, and then with the depth of the D-line this year, we thought there'd be a good run on D-linemen, so that could push down some skilled players, and you saw it, I think, on both sides of the ball. Some corners didn't go as early, but still talented corners that ended up going. And wideouts, obviously, we were able to get Trey at 55.
Let's talk about another move you made with the vets. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Joe, I was just thinking about it because it popped up when you were talking about offensive linemen. Were you just trying to have the biggest offensive line of all time with Mackay next to Joe Alt, or how's that gonna go?
Yeah, hopefully it's going to go great. We fired up to get Mackay. Definitely a guy we were targeting in free agency, and our coaches liked him. Our scouts, our pro department, Lou and Denny and Tyler, they all loved him. And so a guy we had targeted, and very happy to get him in here. And he walked in the building. I'm like, you put him through the physical and all that. And I'm like, hey, I can pass his physical. I can pass him on the physical right now. I'm like, he's good. Imagine just thinking about him and Joe next to each other.
What about the change of conversation about him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy what just a move in a mindset in the right place. Like coming out of Philadelphia, obviously, going to get a great offensive lineman, you assume, from Stoutland University over there as an offensive line. And with the way you guys operate, that feels like a match made in heaven. I assume that's how you guys felt too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that, and then, Chad Alexander, who's our assistant GM, he was there with Mackay at the Jets, and we were actually talking about signing him last year, going into the 2024 season. Philly signed him before the draft. We were talking about signing him after the draft, and and just see how the draft goes through. And so he was on our radar actually last year, and Chad knows him well and felt really good about him, and had been around his 4 years with the Jets. So definitely. A guy that Chad stayed on, and our coach, like I said, our coaches loved him.
That's awesome. Go ahead, AJ.
Joe, when you're interviewing these guys at the combine, I guess now I feel like now they're so polished from when they speak to agents and they're preparing for these meetings. Now, obviously, the whiteboard stuff, I think you definitely want to be prepared for all that. But when it comes to character issues and just speaking to them as a human, are you able to break down sometimes through that barrier of these canned answers? Sometimes I feel like agents prepare them for in their interviews and actually get to know the real player.
Yeah, because our scouts our scouts go into it armed with so much information about the player, and we get an opportunity to talk to them multiple different times: Senior Bowl, East-West, Combine, bring them in on a 30 visit. So yeah, those are things. If there's a character concern, we'll definitely address it with them and press them on, and see what their answers are. And it's not just one individual. Certainly if we have them, come here to Los Angeles, we can literally. He'll meet with 6 different people, and he's going to get asked the same question in a different way each time, and we're all listening to the answers. And so we get done and we talk about it as a group, and say if we have concerns or if we feel the player's learned his lessons or he's developed, he's outgrown, he's matured from his poor decisions in the past. Yeah.
And on the film, that's awesome to hear, by the way. And the fact that you're saying, do we think having a conversation like, okay, he made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Do we think he's matured and past it to be a guy that can help us and benefit our team? Those conversations taking place is so smart. Let's talk about the film aspect, though, of it. And he talked about the whiteboard. So whenever you guys bring them in, will you give them a play in the morning and then you'll ask them about the play in the afternoon? Do they have a heads up on what the film is going to be coming in? I've never done this, so I don't think I fully understand. I'll see the videos that come out from the people on the film and on the whiteboard, but is that just getting thrown to them in real time? How does that kind of happen?
Yeah, a lot of different coaches are different. There's different ways to do it, I should say. And I've seen coaches install a play and then come back to it. And at the end of, they'll install the play right away. And then we'll spend 45 minutes talking to the player. And then at the end, we'll say, okay, remember that play we installed? Yeah. All right, teach it to me. The other way to do it is you're watching film and you're asking them, you're seeing what their recall is. What protection's this? What route's this? What coverage are you facing here? What's the play call? What's the formation call? And you get an idea of the players really when you're just asking that. There's some players that can't tell you the formation, and it's just but now that being said, the game's changed a little bit because you got everyone signaling individual.
Is that their plays? Is that their plays or your plays?
That's their plays.
Oh,
yeah, their plays. So you're asking, you may have a wide receiver and saying, okay, what's this formation? And they may, or a tight end, they may not know the answer. They just know it's right. I go right, and then I'm looking at my designated coach who's signaling in my call, but that's just the way they teach it in college. So the ones that can actually tell you, hey, yeah, this is the formation, this is what the X has, this is what the Z has, this is what the F has, so you get different guys are different, and it's not to say they can't learn it and get better, but it's just the baseline of knowledge they're coming in with.
How was Herbert in there? Herbert was with that Oregon because they were so right, weren't they? I mean, I just assume Oregon. I don't think I watched enough Justin Herbert whenever he was there. Herbert, football IQ, I don't think we ever talked. I don't think it's ever.
No, he won the academic Heisman, but never
really talked about his intelligence ever. I don't think he's super cool. He's super big, super strong, super athletic, super competitive. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever really talks about the brain of Justin Herbert. Has to be elite, I assume.
Justin, I wasn't part of the pre-draft process with Justin. But being around him for a year plus, he's brilliant. So intelligent. I mean, he's got. I mean, listen, if as a guy. When I look at Justin, I'll be honest with you. I hate Justin because, he's got everything. He's beautiful. He's got pinpoint accuracy. He's athletic as can be. He never looks out of breath. He throw the ball through the wall. He's smart. I hate him. And I like him. He's the best, man. I mean, it's just the whole not all men are created equal, or all men are created equal. I say on the inside, like not on the outside. He's gifted and so brilliant and such a great dude. So
I remember Harbaugh saying he's the golden goose. That's what he said. Why'd I get this? Why'd I take this job over there? Wow. We got
walking around, see
Justin Herbert. That's a guy.
Derwin James.
Wow. But for Justin Herbert, the way he held Justin Herbert up in high regard, we're going to protect this guy, is like the first thing he said whenever you're talking about it. And it was legitimately the Justin Herbert hype train from Harbaugh for the first maybe 10 days of his press conferences. What did you like about Los Angeles whenever you came here? We know you're living in an RV or whatever. I saw Justin Herbert for the first time. This guy, wow, they built a quarterback.
Yeah,
this is it.
How can you not want to be a part of that? He's phenomenal.
Harbaugh, Herbert, Hortiz over there in Los Angeles in a brand new facility. I can't wait to watch what you guys continue to build over there. We appreciate the hell out of your time and enjoy whatever time of year is happening now. We're signing free agents again. Is that what we're doing here now?
Yeah, we're looking around, just keeping our eyes open all the time, and always talking through things. And any chance we get to upgrade the roster or add to the competition, if it makes sense, we'll do it.
Well, good luck with all your decisions. You're the man. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Hortiz. They got a good building over there.
Yeah.
What is it? Organizational alignment? They seem like they have it top down.
Yeah. Were you with us then? No, you were not. You missed
No, not at that trip.
Okay, so it was unbelievable you missed that.
Yikes.
That weight room, that inside-outside weight room, and to think that's your NFL weight room.
Dude.
Awesome.
And then Herb, the coach, the strength coach, is just like
beast.
Exactly what you want.
Schlegel loves that guy. Schlegel, my buddy Anthony Schlegel, strength coach as well. He that's all he does is he speaks so highly of Herbert.
We're gonna have to reconnect with you because your Zoom's glitching. But it's like I understand.
What was the governor thing with Herbert?
The governor and the
Oh, I forgot.
But it was awesome.
Yeah, he told a story about this
Ben
plant.
Herbert, that is.
What's that?
Ben Herbert.
Yeah. Governor and
like deacons and governors.
Yeah,
or something?
deacon.
The governor and the
Yeah.
deacon. Yeah. And it was a plant that was in the middle of the weight room. And basically the story was throughout the entire year when he was with the Texans, I believe, or Wisconsin. He was with J.J. Watt. I think
it was at Wisconsin.
So at Wisconsin, they had a plant in the weight room. And at the end of every workout, they would water it and put good stuff in it. And basically, he was comparing, the plant to what your body is right now, especially because you're in like the blossoming year. You're in the middle of the season. I believe the governor was the deacon. I don't know what is a deacon. What is a deacon? Do you know what a deacon is?
I mean, in like the church, I do, but I can't remember in his story.
Anyways, one of them was eating right, doing right, watering the plant, and it was all season after every workout. They all like dump some in there, and then they got to like a championship game and they won it, and then they go in that weight room and they put like beer cans in it and everything. They're like, every once in a while you got to celebrate though, whenever you do that. And I was like the stories. Like JJ texted me that whenever I went to see him a couple months ago. He was what, 20 years old whenever that was happening. Now he's like 40 or whatever. So that's like a strength coach is really a person that like molds you and guides you. And it sets the culture for your entire building. He talked about Schlegel, who's joining us again, AJ Hawk. The strength coach is most important. For college it is. I think in the NFL it can be as well. It is the most important position for your culture, I think personally.
I agree 100%, especially in college. You spend the most time with the strength coach, with the whole strength staff, because there's all these weird dead times where you cannot have contact with your coaches and all that stuff. So, yeah, strength coaching in the NFL, I agree, also has a gigantic impact. You don't get as much time with them, but you're every single day, like first thing in the morning, you're with the strength coaches. You're seeing them throughout the day, and like, I don't know, you got to have great communication. You got to have a great guy at that position.
They're the ones setting the tone on what the entire mindset is of the team. Like, are we a calisthenics base?
Think about the bad ones, too. If they're the bad ones, like, if you have a bad strength coach, man, that trickles down through the whole team. Like, it's a tough deal.
Okay, we're doing body weight stuff. Okay, and we're doing bands. And I'm not saying Pilates is a bad thing. I think all these things are good in workouts. I'm not saying these are all bad. But that sets a tone differently than a team that has the Silver Bells weight room where it's like, hey, if you could bench press, dumbbell bench 290, you can get your name on a wall, and then you're gonna have to re-rack it. It's like that. That's a whole, and then accountability. Like, are you gonna push through? What's the tone gonna be? Like, that sets the whole building. I think. I legitimately, and I'm only saying that because I saw Mike Barwis work. Mike Barwis was our strength coach at West Virginia, and he was the one that, like, Rich Rod had his expectations, and obviously I assume he was a massive piece of, directing with Mike Barwis. Like, this is, and he hired Mike Barwis, so, like, this is what we want. But, like, he's the one that's, like, enforcing it. Like, oh, you think you can put your hands on your knees, huh? You think you're allowed to? You think you're allowed to look tired? I don't think so, buddy. Yeah, that's 110 yards, and you're gonna need to do that in 13 seconds. And if you don't, guess what? You got another one. And at that point, you're going to be even more tired. And guess what you're going to want to do? You're going to want to put your hands on your knees. And guess what you're not allowed to do? Put your hands on your knees. If you do, now we got 2 because you didn't get the first one still. So it's like, that sets a completely different tone than the people that, like, I see pictures of, like, some training, and there'll be guys not touching the line on, like,
Can't happen. That just can never happen.
Legit, there's, like, people that where it happens, and I think people think I'm crazy that haven't been a part of, like I'll say it to my wife, like, a video will run on the screen or something, and they'll be running gassers or whatever, and the person won't touch the line or whatever, and I'm like, can't have it, like, literally can't have it. And then guy jump early or whatever, and they don't stop everybody or punish everybody. It's like somebody jumps early and it's like A-okay. It's like, what are we?
That gives me anxiety thinking about that. Gives me, like, anxiety thinking that someone gets away with that, because I've never been around a team where anyone can get away with that. Like, it just doesn't feel right.
I got so worried that the strength coach would blink at the wrong time and he would think that my hand or foot did not touch the line. Like, I'm going to have to do another one here. Yeah, right, dude. I'm not doing it. Body all the way through the line at 13, by the way. I don't want to see a cleat. I don't want to see hair. I don't want to see shorts through the line. And there's a couple there where, boy, I think my ass was on the line and they let me through. So maybe they are letting a little accountability kind of slip out. I watched the guy dump his pants running half gassers because he wanted to hit his time. He was on like 17 of his 20th one. Yeah, and you've obviously seen the.
Oh yeah. Throw up while they're running. Yeah, keep running. Yeah.
It's crazy. Those workouts used to be wild. If they're still doing that stuff, we need to have a lot more respect for the guys, because I think that's why I think the strength coach is so important to just, like.
I think they are. I think the big programs definitely still do it.
I mean, Bloody Tuesdays we talked about with Georgia. Like, they're still bringing the heat no matter what.
Okay, so maybe we should. We heard from the last couple of days from general managers, NIL actually making some of these guys more mature whenever it comes to, handling money and success and a lot of brands and having attention and everything like that. Their life is, they're a little bit more ready for the NFL system. A couple of them said, I wouldn't want to be the one that has to deal with it for the first time.
Yeah.
Like everybody in college does. But we used to have to be the league that had to deal with everybody getting rich for the first time. There's things that come. Good stuff. Obviously, people give back and change, obviously, dreams and trajectories of families and generations and everything like that. But also, people's first time with money, there's been a lot of documentaries done on it. Not always great. There's some bad decisions. I am an example of that as well. I mean, now, granted, there's some great decisions that come with
full circle.
Like a wrestling ring, for instance, squared circle, full squared circle, if you will. In the entirety, but it's now the college. Now the college people have to deal with that. So the NFL is like, thank God we don't have to take any guesses on it. It's all such a fascinating, like, social study, because, like, people judge a draft. I mean, like, Mel Kiper got really upset. Not mad Mel.
No.
But you got jacked.
Yeah, it's kind of the.
It was a happy Mel.
Yeah, the inverse.
Yeah, roles reversed a little bit.
Yeah, he got really upset about it, and he started saying the NFL doesn't know how to evaluate. You hear what Hortiz
50 years. He said for 50 years they haven't been able to evaluate.
Yeah, we saw Boomer Size and fall into the second round.
Yeah. Listen what Hortiz is saying. We got scouts looking to see if these guys are first in line or third in line. Maybe there isn't an exact science. Maybe you just don't know if a situation is going to work.
Percentages tell it.
And that's basically what he said. He said, my son wrote me a letter. I had to miss his senior day. He told me good luck in the draft a Hall of Famer, and I think we got one in there. Like, that's the hope. Like, even the GMs who know everything about these people, I would assume even the people that are closest to people, they're saying the same thing. Like, there's a chance. Now, what happens from this point forward? Time will tell. What a beautiful story the NFL is,
Yeah.
Changes a lot of lives. Has certainly changed ours. We're incredibly lucky that we get to talk about sports all day, every day. And it's only because, we had the opportunity to get grotesquely overpaid, him much more than me, at our to kick a ball and to tackle more people than anybody in the history of Green Bay. And the draft is just like a nice reminder of that. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of dreams coming true, even if they're coming true a little bit later than expected in one weekend. You still got a 15, 20-year period to tell the whole story. We will continue digitally on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. TikTok Live, I guess, allegedly, second largest streaming platform.
Yeah.
Live streaming platform. TikTok's still alive.
Anyone buy it yet? Did they sell it yet?
Everybody's always piecing together, aren't they? I saw Zuck did a conversation.
He did.
Did he talk about
Talk to
it?
Theo.
Yeah, I didn't know
Talk to Theo,
15
too.
was the number. I got to up my game a little bit.
What's that?
15. There's a huge demand for friends right now.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's how the show ended on TV. That's awesome. That was a great quote out of him.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Most people have about 3 friends.
Mm-hmm.
This is Zuckerberg, who knows everything about everybody.
Yep.
That was actually part of a massive thing.
Yeah.
So is that
Because of
massive
Facebook.
bunker?
Most people have 3 actual friends. Our studies say that most people are only DMing about 2-3 people. You know, we think that it's a big world out there, but most people only have. There's a demand for 15.
Yeah.
He didn't say it in that delivery, but he did say that.
That is what he said.
Hey, there's a chance that AI can supplement some friendships for people too, so maybe people don't feel as lonely. And I think everybody just starts getting very worried about all these things.
Yeah.
But Zuck's got a huge brain.
It feels a lot like the whole demand for real estate in the fictional metaverse.
That was an awesome time.
bit.
Do you remember that? They were selling real estate in a world in a headset.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can be right next to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it turned out that demand for that was very, very low. So I expect similar with the whole AI friendship personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Humans could beat all this, I guess. We all just assume that all this thing's just going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. But humans can choose to do good with this stuff.
Sure.
You know?
Certainly.
I don't know if we will.
I don't need an AI
We
friend.
won't.
AI assistant, maybe.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
need-
part of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a question. I'll be like, you know what, Grok?
Smart me up.
What's going on?
That's what it's meant for, though, right? That's what AI is meant.
It's like new Google. Grok has become like new
Yeah.
Google for like
Just
news
quicker.
things for me.
And Google is now basically just AI as well.
And Google was AI, I think.
Yeah.
For us.
The algorithm was basically AI, but now they're putting, first result is just like basically their Grok.
Yes.
And
spitting you an answer.
Google's AI got too powerful. Remember,
Yeah.
the guy who invented it quit because he was
Sweet
like,
Blake.
Sweet Blake.
I don't know how this works anymore.
I'm bummed out about Sweet Blake. I'm bummed out. He worked his ass off on that thing.
Yeah. Now he's missing the gold rush.
Now, I've.
Oh, no.
He
he's
ain't missing.
No, Sweet Blake. That guy ain't missing.
There he is.
That guy ain't missing.
Uh-uh.
We love Sweet Blake.
He's got a different gold rush coming.
This guy was super.
Cane. Does he need the cane, or is that
Halloween,
just for
all right?
Part of
He's
the
Mr.
outfit.
Penguin.
It was a Halloween at the zoo.
Are you sure?
No.
It was
This
a
is just what he wears?
No, this isn't every day for Sweet
I
Blake.
think
I think it's a
might be.
USB stick, so
Could
you
you-
just plug in.
That's his
Maybe.
house. That's his house.
Could you imagine him walking into the office to work on this AI, taking off that hat, hanging it, sitting down?
Sweet Blake.
Well,
Looking
hello.
good, Sweet Blake. Probably what happens.
This guy. Now people laugh because they probably might not know what we are referring to here. Sweet Blake has been a part of our program for a few years.
Yes. Whistleblower.
Old office.
Way old.
This goes
office.
way back.
Yeah, we've known about Sweet Blake for a long time, and this is actual story that happened once upon a time. Sweet Blake was one of the big builders of the algorithm, I believe, at Google and AI and everything like that. And he said that it was starting to get sentient. You know what he said?
Yeah.
Hey, he said this algorithm is starting to get sentient, which means get feelings and like start speaking as like its own person, as opposed to just kind of a robot answering questions. It started like thinking and stuff.
Yeah.
And we all just assumed it's because Sweet Blake and this algorithm had such good friendship that the algorithm couldn't help itself.
Yeah.
Sweet Blake was so damn charming that even a robot had to
Friendship, sure.
start having a little feel. There's a chance that is true. There's also a chance that he saw a lot of things potentially coming down the pipe and was like, I don't want to be associated with this. I want to go to a Halloween at the aquarium.
Yeah.
I want to have a good time in my life.
Turned into
Exactly.
a love story.
So that is Sweet Blake in a nutshell, if I do recall correctly.
Nailed it. Absolutely.
Pretty pumped to hear that.
And then when we saw that's what he looked like, we were like, what?
How could you not?
What the hell?
We don't know his
He
last
said
name.
he had feelings. Did he develop feelings for the AI?
Last name was Blake.
Yeah, his last name is Blake. That's what I.
No, his first name's not
first
Sweet.
name.
I think we're saying he was sweet because he was sweet man.
I thought for this whole time his name was Sweet Blake.
No, we're saying he was a sweet man because he was like, this is not good.
Hey,
You know,
word.
like it was, and I don't know if he's Southern. It looks like potentially, who knows where he's from. This guy is an incredible AI algorithm developer, though, I think. Maybe too good.
Yeah, maybe too good.
You see some gator pouring out of his mouth.
I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance. Who brought up eating gator the other day?
His real name is Blake Lamone.
Blake Lamone.
Okay.
Great name.
Certainly.
Sweet
Some
Blake
gator.
Lamone. Tyler Shuck eating.
Oh, yeah. The
Will Campbell.
The gator thing was, Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Taking Tyler Shuck.
So we're going gator hunting.
Are we going gator hunting? Is that a I don't want to.
Yeah.
I watched that barefooted guy from Florida. Did you see him? What was his name?
He was a dog.
The barefoot brawler or something. He
captured
on the highway.
State police down there in Florida called this man. Said, "Sir, we've been watching your Instagram reels. We need you. We got about a 10-footer here with a fat neck right here in between the highway." And he barefoot, jacked,
delivered,
absolutely jacked, running in like a zoo. Yep. Can you go back to the beginning of that? Did they have the beginning? Boom, there he is. Look at this guy. Runs up to this thing. Yep, let me go ahead and go face to face with this gator. Drags his ass out on the street. You're in my world now. Okay. Cops had to stop the highway.
What are we doing?
Rides that thing, tapes it up. It fights yet again, gets him another round, and then he and the state police say, "You know what, let's get this thing out of here. We seen your Instagram reels. We knew you'd come through." What's his name up there?
Wow.
Something brawler. Is it up there?
I think he thought about just throwing that
Go
thing
back
into
to the
traffic
caption
and
of
letting
that
him
thing.
run it over.
Yeah, I think they thought about it.
I think there was a chance he was focused just on that gator. I think he forgot.
didn't see the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
A Florida man. Keep scrolling. There'll be something that says his name. He is like he's a blue collar brawler. There he is. Yeah, he is. That's his thing. Because I went and checked out. That is his thing.
BCB.
Those the alligator corrallers down there in Florida. What a gig. Just like Steve Irwin, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
We watched Steve Irwin go ahead and dance with those crocodiles, And I know if it's ever one-on-one, you can't let it see you. You got to be behind it. And then if you get on that thing, you can beat it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can beat that thing if you get on the proper state. This is if you need it. Now, it's going to try to buck you like a rodeo, and it's going to have the death
You got
roll.
to cover their eyes, too. They'll go to sleep.
Yeah, and if you put them on their back, I think they go night. You just got to rub their belly.
Yep.
So what you need to do is you need to get them, you need to snatch them, and then you need to roll over on your back. Big spoon, small spoon, alligator.
Bingo.
Because when it's on its back, that thing will fall asleep.
Exactly.
Then you go ahead and tape that mouth shut, and then you say, "What are you going to do now?" You kind of flip it back over and say, "What?
Yeah.
What?" I think that's what crocodile hunter Steve Irwin did.
You want to talk about Jack? Have you seen Steve Sweet Boy lately?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
He's
man.
doing it.
He's growing up.
He did some at the draft.
He did?
I think he did do
He's
a
doing
pick.
Dancing with the Stars as well. He's doing. I heard.
Did he do a pick? I think
I thought he did.
He did a pick from Australia, I believe. And now, remember, Roger Goodell said something about a game being in Australia. Probably a good play to try to,
Who are you going to get?
be friends. They have a reality show about a sanctuary they have over there. That family, the Irwin family.
That's just a good family.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Wholehearted family.
They got a lot of courage.
Yeah.
Big time.
I know animals generally loving beings, I think. Most. Some are just hunters. They're just trying to eat. So I don't know if they care. I don't know if empathy is a trait that they have.
No.
But there are a lot of animals where if you just keep them fed, they seemingly are pretty cool. So like a lot of these sanctuaries that you see, I see people taking pictures with them, and then we saw Tiger King there's rolling up in there.
Yeah.
But at any moment, like there was a safari video that resurfaced in my algorithm where that lioness runs and jumps in the thing and starts rubbing like a house cat on the people that are in the safari car or whatever. And everybody's, this is awesome. One second.
Tell us not.
1 second. 1 second. Which goes back to the gorilla conversation.
Yeah.
I've been seeing AI simulations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't like the AI simulations.
10,000
I have
on a
not
million.
seen any. How's it going?
A lot of them, 10,000 versus a million. They've done the
That's different.
100 versus 1. They've done all of this. But the algorithm in the simulation doesn't have the scheme, the strategy, the in-game audibles that humans will have. That is what has separated us from primates, is the opposable thumb.
Yep. Sure.
Big deal. And then our I think, reason and logic, I don't know why we got it, to be honest. I have no idea. Sometimes it feels like some people.
Not everybody.
Yeah,
Not everybody.
bingo. They didn't. But it's like, that can't account for that. So I'm seeing a lot of people saying we're dead. This gorilla
All the
is
simulations
boom,
have those
boom, boom, boom,
You're
bang.
going to need somebody to coach or organize the squad. So you got to come up with somebody who can lead the other 99.
Yeah, I need a whistle.
Mike Vrabel.
Harbaugh.
Mike Vrabel, because if it gets down to
Vrabel and
gorilla or one, no, even if he has one guy, two humans, Vrabel being one of them.
Yeah.
Vrabel will definitely step in. Probably with 5, I assume, is when he'd step in.
MCDC or Vrabel, yeah.
Maybe both, you know?
They could both be in there.
Who's our MVP that we're sending in that we know?
So the MVP are these people that we got to talk into.
The first 25 deaths. The first 25 bullet catchers. That's what.
And they just they're doing it, you know.
Give them meth. For real. Have you seen those videos of guys on meth and they're getting tased over and over and over again? They keep coming.
And
that's what we need to give these people.
And they could win. You know, that's the selling point to them.
But
most likely dead. And that's this would have to be like end of world situation.
Yeah.
Okay, it would have to be
death row.
End of world situation here. Yeah, like hey, this is the only way. And those 10 people would have to be the most confident and also the most willing to be like, if I go down, I go down here. Yeah. Okay, for the good of everybody. Because we're going to learn from those first 10, I think.
Highly motivated human beings.
That's going to be
No, we're not. We're not going to learn. We're just going to learn to tire the thing out. That's the only hope. Hey, this thing killed so many people. It's dead tired.
Yeah, but every animal, I'd assume, has a flaw.
Yes.
Like, what if the gorilla we're fighting doesn't have a good left hook, doesn't have a good left hand? We don't know.
No.
What if there was an injury back in the woods that we don't know about? Left ankle, maybe just kind of dinged up a little bit. I think we'll learn that through the first 10. Everybody's assuming this is 100%. Is anything 100%?
No.
I don't think so. Well, unless gorillas just don't get injured.
No, they do.
You have to sprain an ankle.
Tell you what they do. Their flaw is, and I've read a lot about it, is their endurance. Like
yeah, they're short bursts.
Super tired.
That's why. Do we send 10 guys to die, or do we send
one at a time?
10. Great Khalis, Lesnar's.
We only need one great Khali.
Well, that's why-
Are you talking to Great Khali into this?
I
think he'd do it willingly.
Yeah, I think he's already done it.
I saw him circulating the internet, and I forgot about how big some humans can get.
He's big.
Brock is also the same size as a gorilla.
Brock, yeah, and I assume Brock has not heard about this, because he's out in the middle of the woods in Canada, I'd assume. He's probably offended.
Super.
By the conversation.
Yeah.
100.
Come on.
Yeah. And
How much does a silverback weigh? Like a normal silverback. What do they weigh?
Think about Bones Jones.
It was like 400 or 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Think about Bones Jones. Okay? And now I know we're maybe disrespecting the athleticism of a silverback gorilla.
I don't think
so. I might be doing that at this moment. And to all the silverback gorillas that are listening, no disrespect. I'm standing up for humans here. You think Bones Jones ain't going to be able to...
Exactly.
A couple leg kicks, maybe.
He's got that nice kick, that little teep kick right to the chest to hopefully knock the wind out of the old
Knock the wind out of?
How fast? Definitely. How fast these things go?
Not that fast.
Fast. Yeah, right.
I think when they get moving,
Put the video
they're
up.
20 plus.
So are we?
Yeah,
so
they're quick twitch. They're quick twitch.
Their max speed is 25 miles an hour.
Okay.
Jeez Louise.
So
Tom Wilson.
a little bit faster than us. Because we're like, what, 22, 23 miles an hour?
Yeah.
The fastest.
So the fastest, which is probably the fastest. Is every gorilla going 25 miles an hour?
I doubt it.
I bet the heaviest ones aren't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like humans there. So we got to figure out, in Bones, if he wanted to run 25 miles an hour the other way, he probably could do that, or 20 miles an hour the other way. Silverback gorillas can run at speeds between 23 and 25 miles per hour.
Yeah.
According to the International Fund for Animal Welfare, they can run using both legs and arms, which is a different animal. It's going to be tough to take down. Comparison, the average male human runs at about 8 miles. Oh.
I don't think that's correct.
Okay. They're comparing their absolute best versus our absolutely normal. I don't like the way this thing's talking. This is what Sweet Blake was talking about.
Exactly.
This is Google right here. This is the way they're selling it. With that being said, it's going to be a tall task. But Brock Lesnar in there, trained fighters in there.
I mean, Bones Jones,
8 miles an hour.
When gorillas are fighting each other, they're kind of just grappling. Like, can you imagine one of those things eating a spinning back elbow? Like, they're not ready for that. I've never seen that. It'd be like Rocky IV. He opens up a cut underneath his eye. It's like, holy shit, the gorilla's cut. Go, go. I mean, there's a good chance.
Yeah, he'll do that little forehead game.
Yeah.
And the gorilla will probably learn quickly and do this. There'll be a feel out.
Yeah. Eye poke.
Brock Lesnar he'll go for a double leg. Now, if the gorilla's on all fours, it's going to be tough. You just go to the back.
Yep.
With his right hand on his right elbow and his left hand on his back. That is like kind of the startup of amateur wrestling, freestyle wrestling, right? So Brock grab, then he'll, do the thing.
Yep.
Maybe break an arm in there.
Yeah. But to Ty's point, too, like that gorilla takes an F5. Are you kidding me? It's going to have no idea.
If we get to
what
pick
planet
humans, we might only need 10.
Well, I saw Kyle Van Noy put together a list. It was awesome. He put me on the list, and I wanted to thank him, but also tell him I'm okay watching if there's an availability for that. He put together a pretty good NFL team, just all the history NFL greats. It's like if we put all these people on a team. Now, I think they would all have to be in their prime. So if we're fighting the gorilla, we need to be able to get everybody in their prime as well.
Is it an enclosed? Do they say is this an enclosed area? Like how big is the arena?
I assume it's a sanctuary.
Yeah, open field.
I mean,
what if he just runs at you? What if he all of a sudden they blow the whistle and the gorilla just sprints directly at all 100 people?
Flying knee.
It's a flying, isn't it neat?
Yeah, or Mike Allstott with a football.
We're getting like Spartan formation, try to flip it up.
Someone takes his legs out.
Oh,
Okay.
backdrop.
Okay.
Like you take Brock and you take every heavyweight NCAA champion from the last 5 years.
Gable Stevenson. Imagine he does a backflip.
Who's the Air Force guy? Who Gable?
Wyatt Hendrickson.
Wyatt.
And him.
Wyatt. Oklahoma State.
Those three. I put those three up against.
Okay, so we're not sending them first, right? We're letting them get a read on the putt in the scramble.
Yeah.
We're sending some others to tire down.
20 to 50 are where the 5 stars go in.
Okay.
1 to 20 are the crackheads.
Oh.
Or death row inmates.
Jeez.
And then
just those who sign up.
Yeah, 51 to 75 are
cleanup crew.
Are CIA murderers.
1 through 20 is like
Navy
Dickie
SEALs.
Dickie Eklund type guys.
If we're in a sanctuary, you may not even need that many because there's rocks. You just pick up a rock and you smash.
I don't like
build a
objects.
shank.
Well, he can pick them up too.
Open field, no.
And you know what they do? They sharpen tools. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Well,
What if the gorilla goes away for the night because he's tired from fighting all this? It becomes like a war.
That's what
he comes back the next day with a fucking bow and arrow that he pulls out.
Can't let that happen.
Zito just said guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He comes back with, he's got
he's got gear. He's got all kind of gear. He's got a vest on. He's got a bulletproof vest that he made.
They say, now granted, I see videos of them just eating their poop too, but
They do that.
Yeah.
I'll see other
They
videos of
love
them
to throw poop.
cleaning their fruits and you watch it and it's like, damn, man, they're doing a lot of pretty sophisticated stuff. If this thing goes to a day 2 and there's an overnight or a fortnight,
Yeah, we might be in trouble.
that might be.
There's no way.
What if he takes the trees?
Oh yeah.
No,
That's a
He
problem.
can climb the trees, right, and attack you from the trees.
Oh, and then
doubt.
right back up.
gonna be
But you know what we got though? We can build bow and arrows too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, well, if we got weapons,
Yeah,
let's
we
shoot him in the head with a gun.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
All right. Well, we don't got a gun.
It's what's in the
sanctuary.
sanctuary.
You climb, what, do they have a gun tree out there?
There's no
What, you're
guns
gonna
in the
fashion a
sanctuary?
bow and arrow out of some wood? Like,
Gorilla might. The gorilla
Yeah.
might. You don't. Yes, by the way.
But that's
I
the
want to
thing.
see it. Honestly, all this I want to see it happen. Like we've been talking so much, someone needs to put this together.
Well, I saw that.
Yep.
Cook the Books. No. Yeah, I think his name is Cook the Books. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. He's good. Good energy, good juice. Covers a lot of, just good. Fuck, what is his name? I need to get. He said Mr. Beast is going to offer up $10 million.
Oh, for sure.
He did a full, hi, I'm Mr. Beast, and I'm offering up a $10 million prize. And then it's I need 100 people to come fight a gorilla or whatever. And it's like, I don't think we're at that stage, and I don't think that's what Mr. Beast is about, but it is hilarious to think that we just said, yeah, somebody needs to do this. Yeah, okay. We do not need to be watching this, but our algorithm will pop up
I
somebody.
would watch the shit out of this.
Dude, it's crazy. The things that pop up into the algorithm every once in a while, I'm like, how is this allowed on the internet right now?
You wouldn't watch it?
What's that? No way, dude.
I would watch it.
What do you mean? What are you worried about?
Over.
What am I worried about?
Yeah. By watching it, what's it going to do?
I just don't want to know that that's possible. Yeah, I just, in my head, I want to be like, we win, we keep it moving.
Yeah.
And then you think I'm going to tune in and just watch this?
Yeah.
Massive disclaimer in the beginning, by the way.
Seeing that first guy get his head ripped out like a fucking
Yeah,
Mortal
legit.
Kombat fatality.
Popping brains
no
like
thanks.
pimples.
No thanks.
You wouldn't watch either?
You're what? No way.
No, I'd for sure watch that. If I was guaranteed
This is
that
fucking
was gonna
society,
happen.
man. This is we're in a bad spot right now.
He's going to throw the head of the next guy. He rips the first head off and he fires the head of the next
He
dude.
uses the tip of the spine like a spear and throws it right through.
That's what, so.
This would be more watchable.
You guys
right
would
now.
watch this?
The celebration.
Coming up.
I can't wait. I would pay to watch.
That's
Over
a part
under
of the problem.
2.5 billion.
It's a part of the problem.
70 when Human 78 finally rips that gorilla's throat out.
The celebration of society.
It's gonna be like we won World War II.
That's like Truman Show, you know? You watch Truman Show and you think to yourself, like, that'd be crazy if that was how it was. But you are being you're being filmed everywhere. Like everywhere you go. You hop in a car, they're filming you. You walk on a street, they're filming you. For us, you're at an airport, you're being filmed.
Oh, yeah.
In the arena, you're being filmed. It's like everywhere you're being filmed at this point. And everything is content, seemingly. You know, these guys that are just live streaming, walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time? They're like, you know how electric you got to be just to have a film just walking around you. We'll see KSI and Speed tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Tomorrow night at the Fatal Fury City of Wolves once-in-a-lifetime event in Times Square, New York. AJ, have you heard about this?
No. What are they doing?
How do you mean you haven't heard
What
about
the
this?
fuck are you talking about?
I've heard of this, but the everything else that you just mentioned, I have not heard of. I know the boxing match, but what is
Garcia, Romero, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez. So many storylines going into Times Square, including a once-in-a-lifetime boxing event happening directly in the center of Times Square. There's a firefighter fighting a policeman. There's obviously massive people on the rise fighting, and it's going to be a spectacle. And I think I'm going to be there live tomorrow for this particular program. And then I'll be doing the kickoff to the countdown to the once-in-a-lifetime event with Booker T.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, we'll be doing a countdown show to the event with Booker T. It'll be on our YouTube and it'll be on DAZN. We will have special guests during the countdown to the once-in-a-lifetime event. I think Mike Tyson potentially. Lampley stopping by. I mean, we're going to be...
Jim Lampley.
I think so. I think we're going to be, somehow in the middle of
Who's calling the fights? Do you know who's calling the fights?
Lampley. Yeah, he is.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think he'll be joining us before calling the fight. Like, obviously, I am not in the boxing world, okay? Love sport, watch sport. Went to PAL a couple times in Boys Park in Plum to learn boxing. They just had me they just had me do the footwork thing for like 3 straight times, and other people were having fun fighting, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to fit this in.
They haze you.
I just the whole time, just did this the whole time. Okay. Are we gonna? Yeah, fundamentals. So I've always had a respect for the sport. I don't know the ins and outs. Booker T, I guess no. I mean, he is in it. But we're going to bring people, obviously, that know. And getting the opportunity to do this, I appreciate them wanting to expand potentially. Like, hey, people that don't necessarily just know boxing, like the people that watch our show, they think that our people are going to enjoy what they're putting together. And to be honest, when it was pitched to me, I was like, I don't know if I'm the right guy for a boxing thing. They're like, we're hosting one in Times Square. It's like we want it to be a big celebration with our sport being in the middle of it. So it's an honor to be asked, and I can't wait to get over there. I think it's going to be pretty electrifying, legit. And obviously Garcia being on the card, that's a massive name. Haney being on the card, obviously Garcia and Haney have the rivalry that they have in the last fight, missing weight, the money, the fine, everything like that. They're yelling at each other. They're not even fighting each other. So it's been like a spectacle all week leading up to this in New York. And it's an honor that we're going to be over there tomorrow, legitimately. And I think the boxing world's going to show. I think these are going to be good fights from what I've been doing as much research as I possibly can on this. I think they're all going to be good fights, good matchups.
Yeah, definitely. This is a stacked 3-fight main card that basically determines the future of the welterweight and the super lightweight divisions moving forward. Kicking it off with the Battle of the Badges is sick. FDNY versus NYPD. They've been doing this for years at the theater underneath Madison Square Garden. That FDNY guy, Shams Charania, ladder 24 out of Midtown, ladder 24, say no more. He's taking on Joel Allen. That guy has been fighting for like 20 years doing kickboxing and MMA, so that'll be awesome. The Tsutsumi guy is he's been an amateur forever in Japan. He's 26-2 as an amateur. He's coming over here to make his first professional fight. He's a bit of a phenom, if you will. Teofimo Lopez is the champion in the super lightweight / junior welterweight division. He's sort of like that Eye of the Tiger story where in 2020...
I got the
tiger and the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last of the rival as he's haunting her home of the tiger. Where he upset Lomachenko in 2020, which was like a big-time shocker. He was like plus 1,100 to do that. Lomachenko was like the Ukrainian, world beater, former top of this division. He knocked him off. Obviously, he's the champion then. Immediately lost the next fight. And then he worked his way back up, reclaimed his titles, and along the way, he started to question if he still had that Eye of the Tiger. He was like asking his corner, am I still fucking good enough to do this?
Really?
After he got his titles back, he actually retired, but he's still chugging along. And Barbosa Jr.
He looks very confident in the pre-fight interviews that I watched.
Yeah.
Sunglasses on, hat on. I can tell, like every sport, there's a chance you can lose your confidence, especially in fighting. I say more so in fighting. You got to have a blind confidence in a sport where it's the other person can kill you. Like you have to be very confident, and you're going to get hit, so you have to battle through adversity. Confidence helps you with that entire thing. It looks like he's all the way back from the videos that we've been sent over by DAZN for the pre.
Yeah, big time. And he's young. He's 25, 26 years old. So he's got a ton in front of him. Barbosa Jr., who he's taking on, he's 33 years old, 32-0. Okay. His problem really hasn't been in the ring. It's been getting over outside of the ring, sort of that like more entertainment side where probably a lot of us up here.
Undefeated?
Yeah, he's 32-0, undefeated. He was on the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia card. He was the fight before them. Won a controversial split decision against an Irishman. But he's chugging along. He's tough as hell. He's tatted up, and he's big for the weight class. Then going up, you got Devin Haney. So he lost to Ryan Garcia technically, and then afterwards, the whole drug test thing, it became a no contest. So Devin Haney right now remains undefeated. And this is sort of a get-back spot. He's trying to get back on top, but he's not fighting a slouch. Jose Ramirez is a former champion.
Baseball player.
And I believe
third baseman for the Cleveland Guardians.
And third baseman who absolutely rakes for the Cleveland Guardians. But he's a tough son of a bitch. He's been a former champion in the super lightweight division. But Devin Haney's probably the best pure boxer on the card.
Garcia, I see him on Instagram.
What's Haney do?
Rolling shoulders.
What's his style?
Yeah, think about like a slightly bigger than Floyd Mayweather, where he's trying to touch you and not get touched.
Counterpunch.
Put on one of those shows where he takes 0 damage.
I don't know.
Not yet.
I can't visualize. Can you show?
Yeah,
please. You were doing it earlier, Bruce.
Keeping distance.
You rolling
with your jab.
shoulder, Bruce?
Yeah.
You
Bouncing in and out.
As you move.
Rolling
Stand up a little bit.
Come on. Let us see.
He's phenomenal, though. He's the best technical fighter. He ran into trouble with Ryan basically missing weight, coming in like 8 pounds bigger than him, and just kind of out-muscling him. And then, the top of the card, Ryan Garcia. If we were to bring all these boxers to the punching machine right over there, Ryan Garcia would have the high score. His left hook is absolutely disgusting. His right hook's nothing to sneeze at either. He's almost like the child star of the sport, where like he had like 8 million Instagram followers before he had really done anything in boxing, just because of the fucking fast hands, that he was showing off.
And he would do that left hook challenge body shots.
Yes, the body shot
and he was
challenge,
melting people. He was a social media. He's a social media boxer. I was impressed with how fast his fucking hands were. And how about that thing that was moving, which I assume a lot of boxers use, and it is normal for theirs. He was the first one that I was watching like on a regular basis and dominating.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a lot of guys posting that when they're on that bag. It is insanely difficult to do what he does with it, and it only comes when he grew up boxing in his parents' garage when he was probably 6 years old. He's just been doing it his whole life. Insane power, fast hands. He only really runs into trouble because he just kind of stands there and will let himself get into a brawl when he probably should stick and move.
That's why we love him.
A little bit more. And Rolly Romero.
That is why we love him.
Rolly Romero, interesting matchup, is kind of the quintessential brawler. He just wants to muck it up, throw 1,000 punches, doesn't care much about getting hit in the head. He'll take it and keep it moving. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
All right, so we have a big-time fight card tomorrow night.
Hell yeah.
The fight will not be on YouTube, our YouTube. Just the pre-show will be on YouTube. And we'll be sending you to, I believe, the DAZN app. And the Ring Magazine is putting this together. Is it going to be on their stuff, too? Or is it? I think it's just on DAZN.
I believe it is just on DAZN. Ring Magazine has been around since like 1920.
Of course.
Obviously, recently changed hands, new ownership. They're just a written word site, I believe. They got their own.
Still hard
they
to
got their
visualize.
own titles.
What are you saying?
It's still hard to like visualize. Bruce's breakdown was great. I just can't. I couldn't.
I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, you're talking about being a pure boxer.
Being able to actually see it. Yeah, that's like the
what did you mean by like? What did you mean by like stick and get out?
Yeah,
and slipping. I think you said slipping.
Yeah. Like
your foot, what's the footwork look like?
If only somebody had been a trained boxer.
I know.
Yeah.
So
that would be good.
The stick and move? Is that
You stick and move.
Stick, move.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Boom, foul. Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Okay.
Oh, boom.
Did he get in the ring and do it?
Oh.
And then Ryan's famous for his fucking dance.
Oh.
Hey, hey, one time.
Yeah, get in there.
Yeah.
No.
You
Oh,
got Should tie you.
Is that how they get into boxing?
Look at this guy. Move.
Stick and move. Stick and 1, 2.
Wow.
Stick.
Oh, it's a hook. Body's not gonna like that. Sticks committed to the jab with a hook.
Find your distance.
No.
Find your distance.
Wait, Tony, is that actually what it looks like, though? I thought.
Yeah, that is what it looks like. Yep, he did a great job.
Oh, I thought Tony said he had kind of a
Oh yeah, because Tony has a different style.
Yeah, he's more of an Italian boxer.
No,
Yeah, he's more of an up and over the top.
I'm more of a trainer. I'm more of a corner guy. You know, you got to find your distance.
Hey, so way to stick and move here. Way to stick.
Throw the jab to find the distance, and then you parry, and then you're in.
Well said.
I thought you were going to also show us
No.
your kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, the ring right there.
Yeah,
You know.
Tony, you might as well.
I will not do what Bruce just did.
Bruce, that was pretty good. Paul.
That was good.
Thanks.
That was good.
You won't do what Bruce just did because you have a different style. That's our point.
You looked.
Save some for the show.
You look like you were giving it there.
Thank you.
I respect
I
that.
was flashing back.
We love
a
this.
little.
Did Bruce grow up boxing?
Yeah.
No.
Long time.
Yeah.
No.
Mike
won.
Tyson's his grandfather.
He won Golden Gloves at 13 or 14?
Baron Corbin,
Yeah.
like Golden Gloves as a teenager. Now he's doing jujitsu and rolling people. It's like that's a good thing. I think people like. I do wish I would have went back a couple times. You know, and I mean, I feel like I got what was going on in there.
Sure.
But I don't have 3 free hours in the week with my current soccer schedule right now.
To just move back and forth.
Walk back and forth. I respect what you're doing. I understand what's happening here, but man, with my ADD, I can't believe I got through 2 of them, to be honest. I can't believe.
They torture you.
I understand. It's a lot of respect, and you got to be disciplined. You got to get through it. But I feel like they chased me out of there pretty quick. I might have been good.
You go to the Boys Park one?
Yeah. Yeah. It was right down there. I felt so good walking in there. I'm like, this is a smart idea. Yeah, I'm going to go there. All right. Front of that mirror right there.
See what you got, son.
Part, go forward, go back. Clean some stuff. It's like, all right, I'll do that. But I think, when you start watching it, especially the really good guys, and obviously, if you're a boxing enthusiast, you're going to say that I'm an asshole here, but like watching the people, like Tyson Fury when he took on the Alabama Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Watching like his and then
head movement.
Floyd, all
their footwork is nuts. Like he mentioned Lomachenko, that dude's footwork is off the charts. Like that's really cool to watch him move.
Yeah, and him talking about Haney like not getting hit, like your expectation of boxing is like these guys like to get punched, they don't care and they want to punch people. It's like, no, it feels like these really good ones are just so much quicker than you. What was that thing that happened with Canelo at like a press? It was like a Matrix type situation where Canelo just moves his head and like slips something. It's like that. Just the human ability to be able to do that is the athleticism that requires, because you got to have awareness, obviously. Then your brain, your quick twitch muscles have to be trained, and then also it just has to be a sense of feel that you have in there while everything else is happening. It's like you got to grow up doing that shit.
Yeah. Reaction time.
That's why the celebrity boxers, anytime celebrity boxing happens, all the old school boxing people are like, if they take on an actual boxer, they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, but they're not fighting an actual boxer. They're fighting like a former mixed martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they need to fight a boxer if they want to get into it. It's like maybe 1 year, but like it's just like whenever you golf with a kid that golfed in high school. It's like those boxers just no shit. Like the shoulder protection just is coming out of nowhere. Like Tyson Fury's little brother, whenever he fought Jake Paul.
Tommy. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think Tommy's like right.
No, he's not insane, but he grew up boxing and was a professional boxer, and then obviously he goes in there with Jake, and it looks way different than all of Jake's previous fights.
And it looks different probably for Tommy's previous fights too.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever he was in there as well, and it's like Jake still continued to work there, and I think Jake is. Him committing himself at this stage of life to boxing is
his
wild.
natural talent and just pure punch power for a guy who didn't grow up doing it is actually insane.
Ability to commit, hard sport to commit to. I just talked about walking back and forth.
Especially when you're as rich as he is.
And successful.
Yeah.
And have other businesses.
It's like signing up to get punched in the face all the time and
it is very fulfilling.
Sweat and be miserable.
You don't get punched in the face like all the time in the training aspect, and it is very fulfilling when you like climb the ranks and like when they let you spar for the first time after just hazing you for like a month.
Oh, it's a part of that's like a part of the gym.
Yeah, so when I walked in, I did like one camp, right? So I walked in, they were like, you're fat, treadmill, and that was the first 2 weeks. Basically, I didn't box at all for 2.5 weeks, and then they finally were like, "All right, do you have gloves? Like, did you bring them?" And then we started like actually training on top of the running, but I still had to run every day when I showed up.
Yeah, the cardio is just insane. That's why the Floyd run for how long it is. And they say, well, he's not fighting anybody whenever he went over to Japan, I think he took that fight. The billionaire on New Year's Eve.
Kid's son. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the cardio that it takes, that they just naturally have built up because they've been boxing their entire life. Unbelievable stuff.
The McGregor thing. When Floyd fought McGregor, it was like, until once he gets to round 10 or 11 or whatever the hell
5.
it was, he's going to win. And then that's exactly what happened.
The boxing people told us.
Yeah.
Whenever we were talking about it, we were a small little program at the time, but whenever Conor fought Floyd Mayweather, I was a believer in Conor. I was like, Conor, he's not signing up to just get beat up. This guy's in the middle of a run. Like, he doesn't want to lose anything right now. Maybe watch his documentary, whatever the case. I was caught up. I'm like, if McGregor's doing it, I'm betting on him. And every person that was a boxing person that I knew was like, I will take the bet. Mm-hmm. How many rounds is this thing? I think it was like a 15 round.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm sure he'll look good for 10, 11 rounds, maybe even 12. Then there's still 13, 14, 15 there where this can all end. And it is like the stamina is just different. Now, granted, there's people that are going to end the fight early, and the brawler you talk about this weekend will be a great, opponent for Garcia, especially if Garcia wants to get into a brawl. So the main event should be live action. But watching them move is a sight to see. I can't wait. This is going to be like the first time I'm going to.
Yeah. It's obviously it's the old cliche, like, oh, you have to see it live. But once you do see boxing live, it'll change your perspective.
I've seen Rough and Roddy.
Yeah. That's the pinnacle.
I've seen Rough and Roddy.
You ever go to Tough Man contest when you were a kid?
Went to a Tough Man contest, 2 of them in West Virginia. That was a good time. Out in the middle of nowhere.
Best. Dudes in like jeans boxing against some dude. That was the best.
Wait, we were at the Triple G fight at Madison Square Garden. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we were.
It was electrifying.
It was, it was awesome.
Completely forgot about it till now.
And we had great seats at that.
It was electric. I can't wait for tomorrow all of a sudden. Yeah, that was a great time.
And that was, MSG was awesome, but like being in Times Square is
it's going to be crazy.
I don't know how, functionally, I don't know how that whole thing goes.
It's gonna be so cool. Just seeing those photos even.
I bet it'll be kind of like the draft where it's like secured perimeter type deal and then like very few sold seats close to the ring.
I don't know. But I do know all the ad boards that are around are all going to be a part of it. So like, there's a lot
Carlo's Bake Shop. Buddy's in there. Carlo's Bake Shop right there.
There he is.
Buddy is Buddy on the undercard? Buddy Velastro, is he on the undercard?
He's got we should have him maybe come on the show. You're talking about Cake Boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cake Boss right there.
That's his?
That's his. Carlos.
Gotta stop by.
His last Super Bowl appearance was unbelievable.
What? No questions about the sweet science? I don't know.
Can't wait. I will ask him.
He might.
He's got a front door seat.
He's probably got picks for every single fight.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. Tomorrow should be a good day. We will obviously not just talk about boxing, but maybe. I have no idea what the setup's going to be tomorrow. Should be a good time. We appreciate you all so much for allowing us to do this for a living. It's going to be wild seeing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Be cool.
What's happening to the cowboy?
The naked cowboy?
And the Spider-Man.
Is he still around?
Oh, they're there.
No, they all got.
They're actually introducing the boxers.
He shot them in the head and moved them out.
No way. They did a Lucas Oil halftime show, you remember?
Yeah, that's right.
They did a Lucas Oil halftime.
That's right.
That was good.
That is correct.
I'm excited to see Times Square. I'm excited to be over there. I'm pumped for the opportunity. There's going to be so many pissed off boxing people that I'm doing it. I can't.
Fuck them.
Can't wait to listen to the comments about me getting dropped into that. I would like to let you know I'm honored that I get an opportunity to be a part of an evening that they are saying once in a lifetime event. I think they're trying to make it feel big. Hopefully we can do that. I can't wait for me and Booker T.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
I've hung out with Booker T backstage. I don't think I've ever got to be on a microphone alongside Booker T. Booker T has been a commentator and a professional wrestler in WWF since I've been alive, basically. Now, he went over to TNA, and while he was at TNA, is one of the greatest moments of all time. He was doing commentary, and then he got into the ring with the headset on. Oh, King Booker's beating the hell out of Oh, King Booker's kicking. It might have been just a handheld microphone. He gave his own commentary in there. And then everything else that he's done with the WWE, he is just like so entertaining. In boxing, I guess, is his full like...
He loves it.
Like, I guess it is his thing. Like, he loves boxing. So we are honored. I think I don't want to speak for Booker, but from my conversations, He said yes immediately upon being asked about it. It's like, let's try to make it big. We're going to try to pay it as much respect and do it as much justice as possible because I understand this is probably a very big commitment by people to rent out Times Square.
Times Square, yeah.
And there's a lot of big fights. And then on Saturday, you got Canelo fight.
Yeah.
Happening. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a big boxing weekend. Let's go ahead and enjoy that. Let's enjoy that with the NHL, the NBA.
Derby.
Kentucky Derby. Yes. Let's talk about that, Bruce.
Yeah. So, kind of, not a ton of hype around it. I think part of that is because of the strength of the favorite. That would be Journalism, the number 8 horse at 3-1.
Journalism?
Yeah, so Baffert was trying to get like 5 horses qualified
after today,
and he didn't get it done because Journalism was so unbeatable. I do not believe that the horses lost. When you watch it move, it is clearly different. If you are looking to beat Journalism, Baffert's got the number 1 Citizen Bull at 20-1. He's got the 4 Rodriguez, who shut the door on McAfee's Kentucky Derby hopes in the Wood Memorial.
Journalism versus McAfee would have been a fucking.
That would have been scenes. Instead, we get
down the stretch.
Instead, we get Rodriguez.
Oh my God!
What about Sandman? Sandman's got
Sandman.
odds.
Sandman's a closer. Just needs a clean trip. Sovereignty right behind him is a great horse as well. Publisher, I find it kind of interesting. I don't know if it actually is. Has never won a race.
Titstastic.
Yeah.
Publisher has never won a race.
Yeah, Publisher's
Titstastic is obviously in here as well. How about Owen Almighty?
Owen Almighty.
Is that Jeff? No, Jack?
Bruce's kid.
And Evan.
There's probably a great story behind that.
Owen Almighty, I assume.
Yeah, I'm sure.
30-1.
Flying Mohawk.
Yeah, Flying Mohawk. I don't think has ever ran on dirt.
So how's Flying Mohawk get into?
What's he run on?
Yeah,
You get
in on points. So like Publisher finished second in the Arkansas Derby. That's enough points to get in, but has never actually won a race.
Got it. Okay. And then these aren't the fastest horses on earth.
These are the fastest 3-year-olds on earth.
Yeah, Breeders' Cup is the
fastest.
Yeah, that's the real main one.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the Kentucky Derby, which is a grand spectacular event down there in Louisville. There'll be more than 125,000 mint juleps served, says Joe Pompliano, always on top of the stats. $22 a pop, that's 2.75 million sales in one drink, brother. Let alone the merch and everything else, and the food and the tents and the VIP suites, if you will. Are you going this year?
Yeah, I'll be there for the race on Saturday.
Let's go.
It's going to be sweet.
Oh, man, I completely forgot. This is a massive weekend for AJ.
Yeah.
AJ, don't worry about tomorrow. I forgot about this. This is a big.
Oh, no, it works out well. It's actually closer from Indy than it is Ohio.
Okay, good.
We're good.
Hey, get some answers while you're down there, okay?
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Walk up with your phone just right behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, mama, I'm in fear of my life from the Lord.
See how it responds.
Yeah, if he goes, get that out of here, you need to text immediately.
Yeah.
Bad news, boys.
He's not coming.
Actually, do it while he's sleeping and just put it next to his ear, and then it'll just be in his head. And he'll be like,
why don't I wake up singing a song?
Yeah,
What a vision.
Or he'll have a nightmare. Ah!
And they don't know.
Yep.
That'll be the universe. You could potentially be the universe there. And Sticks actually sent us some beer.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Sticks Golden
Yes,
Lager.
they
Grab
did.
some of that.
Oh.
What is it called? Sticks Golden Lager?
Yeah, there's some other wacky
It's literally
name
called
to it,
Oh
but-
Mama.
Yeah, it is Oh Mama.
Oh Mama beer was
Yep.
sent here to the office. It looks like a thick one. I'm obviously in the middle of a keto run
It
here.
surprised me. It wasn't as thick as the can looks. It was pretty good, actually.
Good beer.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
Well, no. It's not bad. Foxy had one sip. We're talking about a 19-ounce beer here, though.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is,
big can.
Yeah, so like the
that's Oh Mama
the first 8 ounces, first can, let's say, first 12 ounces, not bad. Then you realize, okay, I got another 7 ounces.
This thing's a super diesel. And
It is.
It gets a little warm, too, there at the end.
It does.
I was never a big can guy.
I drank it
Need
pretty
a frosted
quick.
mug.
They're too popular.
So I didn't have that problem, but it's a 6% beer, which again,
That's pretty diesel.
What was the beer? What was the beer that Roethlisberger and Spank gave me over there?
All American beer?
No, not the real American.
The tea?
Surfside?
Surfs.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Those are pretty good.
There's a lot going on over there in that part of the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
T's and P's.
Oh, boy.
I mean, that was
Brutal.
We're not going to show it because that hit everybody's algorithm last night.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, T's and P's going to the game. Yeah, that's incredibly That was scary to watch, and everybody's reaction around it was scary as well. So obviously T's and P's back to Pittsburgh. Not only that, but Pittsburgh just had a devastating storm that came through and wiped out power and water, and they were projecting like, you're not going to have power for like a week in some places in Pittsburgh. I think a lot of places came back on, I believe, but like T's and P's obviously to the kid that fell last night in the outfield wall, and T's and P's to the people in Pittsburgh that are going through right now. That's Fiore's Pizza right there.
So good.
That is a great pizzeria. They have fantastic pizza that obviously we grew up eating. They lose the entire top of the building, basically. So they're not the only ones. There's plenty of other places as well. I believe the Oakmont golf course, they had all their tents set up for the U.S. Open that's coming around. And the way there's that was all obviously destroyed. So big wind. I don't know if it was a tornado, a microburst. I don't know what came through Pittsburgh, but they got it pretty good. And there was some property damage for Rio over there. Some people in the power loss thing was crazy.
Nuts.
It was... just hearing from people, they're like, we just got an update that we'll get power next week.
God damn.
Like, next week?
Yeah, my parents are still without. Well, they got a generator. My dad got a generator, but their neighborhood is without power.
It's gonna be days. It's like a week.
Coach Diggs.
Think about that in 2025. I don't know.
Yeah, things happen after. I mean, you lose power for a week, people will go crazy.
That's a long time. Yeah. That's a very long time. In 2025, didn't know it was possible, but Pittsburgh, over 120,000 people are going on 48 hours with no power because of one quick moving windstorm. And they're saying 5 to 7 days. Obviously not happy. Jeez. If there's ever a tornado here, it better just take the house because it'll take Duquesne Light 6. Okay, all right. There's been a lot of anger from. So they're saying like a week without power over there. So T's and P's.
That's crazy.
And obviously for that kid, man, sad stuff. On that note, tomorrow's big day.
Yeah, big.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's big day.
Huge.
Head body.
Sweet science.
Tommy Zibikowski, teammate.
Yeah, he's Golden Gloves guy.
Didn't he do
great boxer? While he was playing in college, he sold out Madison Square Garden and knocked a guy out and got like $40,000 or $50,000 or something like that. And it was a big deal in the NCAA because he had to like sue. He had to like appeal that he was allowed to go box in Madison Square Garden and win $50,000 because back then, this is pre-NIL, you weren't allowed to make any money. He did it. I don't know. Was it middle of season or off season? I don't remember. Do you remember, AJ?
I think it was off season at some point. Yeah.
He drives over there, wins, drives back to Notre Dame. Then he obviously goes to the Baltimore Ravens, great punt returner, great safety. Comes over to the Indianapolis Colts with Chuck Pagano. Obviously, Chuck comes from Baltimore, has a secondary coach, says, want this guy here. I got a chance to meet him, hang out with him. What a special athlete that guy was.
Yeah.
And we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. They had one of these, and watching him hit that thing and then teaching stuff. And then, might get a cocktail at the time, get a cocktail in or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, this guy's a real boxer. Let's see.
Okay.
And then you just get slapped in the face 5-6 times. You go boom, boom, bang, boom. Oh my God. And then he turns to like wanting to teach something. He's like, good move here. Look low, bang, over top. That's an easy, just any time. You just move body down, hand up over top because they're naturally going to go like this, and then it's a bang. I guess, I don't know if that was what he won the Madison Square Garden fight with, but every time I fell for it, every time he did it to me.
That was your Oculus move.
Yes, bingo. It really was. And it was 100-0, I think. Yeah. And it was exhausting.
Overhand right. That overhand right.
What did he get on the machine?
Remember? It was big. Yeah. He was the biggest. He broke the record, obviously. He knows how to punch. He was big. He was an NFL guy.
Yeah.
He was a cool teammate, man. Learned a lot from him. He was a good dude. Now he's a firefighter, I think, in Chicago. Was a firefighter in Chicago. I'm excited for the firefighter-police fight.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
That might steal the show.
I'm worried for the firefighter after digging in on the cop. I found a video from 2007 of him kickboxing when he was like maybe 15 years old.
Oh, but I assume the firefighter boxer as well.
No doubt, yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Is a kickboxing match?
No. It's a boxing match.
Didn't think so.
Motherfucker.
It's just fists, okay?
All right. We can't wait to get over there. Lucky to be a part of it. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.